it's time to wake up. Kincade and Salciunas is on the air.
Today's talk show for your morning drive.
After one of the worst offensive performances we watched in the first half, but the second half, the all-star team Eagles showed up, and Jordan Davis played hero, John.
I think it was the craziest Eagles game I've ever seen. I think that was the worst first half, and that was the most amazing second half turnaround that I potentially have ever seen.
Broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
My God, I don't know where to begin today, Johnny. Usually we have a plan. Well, I guess
We always have a plan.
This kind of is the plan, but I'm just trying to do the theatrics here. We had a day of highs for the Phillies and a day of injury lows for the Eagles. A crazy day yesterday in Philadelphia as we continue to get you ready for Eagles-Bucks this Sunday, as we continue to count down the final days of the 2025 regular season for the Philadelphia Phillies before they begin Red October, which will be on the bye week, and we will see who they face.
How about that?
Come round two in the divisional round of the playoffs.
How about this one, folks? And I can verify for you that Saturday, October the 4th, it'll be either early evening or a little later in the evening. If it is the Dodgers, it's going to be, we could be talking like a 6:08 start, or we could be talking like a 8:08 start.
Sure.
So it looks like that'll be, can you imagine the tailgating for game one of the NLDS?
Oh, bring it. Let's go.
That sounds like a great day, everybody.
Sounds like a freaking awesome day.
That sounds awesome. We're looking forward to it.
So let's go with the highs first, because we always
Let's
like to
do that.
start
Yeah,
positive.
let's start that.
And the highs are your Philadelphia Phillies and their 11-1 bludgeoning of the Marlins. They caught that fish, they brought it on board, and they beat the crap out of it.
That's an interesting way to depict it.
Well,
is that what you do to a fish? I'm not a big fisherman.
When you hit 8 home runs, setting a franchise record, you do whatever the hell you want to that fish. My God, crazy day yesterday.
That was wild.
Kyle Schwarber hits 2 home runs in a 4-for-5 day, both solo shots. Alec Bohm, believe it or not, extended the arms enough and lifted the ball in the air for a home run. He went 2 for 4 with a home run. Otto Kemp goes yard yesterday. He goes 1 for 3, was walked 1 time, hits a home run. I'm going to skip the next one and then go to Bryson Stott, who hit a home run yesterday. Now, by my count, that's 5. That is 5 home runs. So
I'd say that's really good.
How do they get to 8? Well, not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs from the man that returned from the injured list yesterday, Edmundo, the you-know-what, Love Sosa.
He did not.
3 home runs yesterday, 5 RBI, a 3-for-4 day with 3 home runs. Welcome back, Edmundo Sosa, and welcome back the power surge of the Philadelphia Phillies lineup, Johnny.
That was a incredible night. And that was the kind of thing where you just say to yourself, and it was weird because on my timeline I was seeing a lot of Phils fans that were saying, could we just get a little bit of breathing room when we're getting this great starting pitching?
Sure.
And could we get these guys where they get a little bit of breathing room? And it was nice to see another outing from a starting pitcher that makes you go, okay.
That should not be lost. Good job, Johnny.
Not be lost, but the offense, though, it makes everybody just exhale.
Yeah.
And seeing that offense do that, and there were a lot of guys hitting last night that game one of the NLDS probably aren't in the lineup.
Dude, again, we're going to have a very interesting conversation next week when we are predicting and then reacting.
I think it's going to be debate.
The NLDS roster. It might be debate.
I think all week long, and I think our listeners, our YouTube audience, our Twitter followers, I think there's going to be heated debate next week trying to figure out this roster because there's going to be decisions that are made, and there are going to be some hard decisions.
Yeah, like big-name players like Aaron Nola, because there might not be a reason. Well, there is no reason for him to be on the NLDS roster the way that the schedule works out, where he would not have to pitch because he is not one of your top 3 starters. But you mentioned Luzardo yesterday, 7 shutout innings, just 3 hits allowed, 10 strikeouts. He's put together a stretch of outings right now where he had to fix a stretch of outings that he had where it was down 4 runs against the Mets, 4 runs against the Dodgers. But it wasn't as bad as it sounds, right? 8 innings against the Mets, 7 innings against the Dodgers. He pitched deep into those ball games.
That
for
8-inning one was amazing.
Yeah, it was, despite the 4 runs. And
that was great.
Was it early? First inning?
It was 4-0.
Yeah, it was 4-0.
It was 4-0 with one out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he threw
it was
a
one
no-hitter,
out.
like the rest of the way, right?
It was unbelievable.
So Luzardo, great outing yesterday, and then you get the 2 shutout innings from the bullpen. I know that they will have the week off because of the bye, but it is still good for arms to get extra time off. When you win 11-1 like you did yesterday, it allows Tim Meza to pitch. It allows Max Lazar to pitch, which means Strom, Kerkering, Duran, the guys that you're truly going to rely on in the playoffs that seem to have been leaking oil recently. It's good to have given those guys another night off, even though they probably wouldn't have pitched today anyway in back-to-back days or yesterday in back-to-back days. It's still good to be like, hey, you guys can sit today.
I love it.
Don't worry about it.
This is awesome. I mean, it really is. And to me, I just look at it as, and I've got something in for more for tomorrow in the show, but this is 22, 23, 24. This does feel different. This September feels different.
Yeah, like you said, it's not.
It feels different.
It's not the slog into the playoffs.
No, it just this team has a bit of a different feel to me than the last few years. And that makes me smile.
Sure. All right, so that's the highs. Go Phillies. Hell of a win. That's great. Can we skip the lows? No, we're going to get to the lows. It's still go Birds.
No, it's go Birds.
It's go Birds.
But it's go Birds to the nurse's office?
Yeah, it's unbelievable day yesterday with the injury report that popped out. First and foremost, the biggest story is Nolan Smith heading to the IR. Remember, he had the injury that he sustained during the playoffs last year where he needed to get surgery. He tweaked it again, apparently, last week against the Los Angeles Rams.
I've never heard, by the way, the term tweaking of the injury that he has.
Sure.
Have I heard the term tweak with it? That's a really interesting way to look at it. It gives me great concern.
Yeah, and not expected to require surgery, thanks to Adam Schefter putting that out there. But he's expected to be out through the bye week, which is week 9.
And remember,
that's a long time from there.
Remember last year, Brandon Graham got injured, got the surgery, came back in the Super Bowl, tore it again.
Right, exactly.
And then Nolan Smith gets the injury, gets the surgery, comes back. Now he's out again.
Yep.
Not expected to need surgery, though.
2 more players going on injured reserve yesterday. Darius Cooper, obviously the camp darling who made it as the 5th wide receiver on the team. We really have not heard his name much mentioned through the first 3 weeks of the season. But then Jacorian Bennett pops up, and I'm reading the article from NBC Sports Philadelphia by Reuben Frank. It still says unknown injury. Like, we don't know why both of those players are on IR. I'm sure that'll come out at some point this week. But the reason why I bring up Jacorian Bennett, Adoree Jackson is still listed as questionable for this Sunday's game, and it looked like Jacorian Bennett would have been the guy that would have started. He's now on IR. And so there is a legitimate chance that the guy that lost the cornerback 2 battle, and it was so bad that they had to make the trade for Jacorian Bennett, Keely Ringo might be your starting corner on the opposite side of Quinyon Mitchell this Sunday against the Bucs. Now, again, it's not the same Bucs team. It's not the same.
Well, they're missing 3 of their top 4 receivers.
Right. So
it's not the same. But as you point out, look, we can't. Earlier this week we were saying we got a wounded dog and we're going into Tampa. And I always say to people, don't celebrate injuries. Don't be excited about injuries. And I saw a lot of people just really be like, boy, those Bucs are injured. Because, boy, the Eagles are closed-lipped.
Yeah, they really are. And then, so those are the guys heading to IR. Zach Bond did not participate in practice yesterday with a knee injury. Jahad Campbell did not participate in practice yesterday with a triceps injury. Lane Johnson, limited participant with the stinger that he sustained this past Sunday. And, of course, it happened on one of the tush-push plays, so you know what that's going to lead to. Will Shipley, though, good news, full participant after last week's kick return debacle. We know that he's a guy with return ability, so maybe we see Will Shipley back on the field, and then he would obviously be in the return game. But the injury list piled up big time for the Philadelphia Eagles. Bond and Jahad Campbell, we don't know if they're out for Sunday. They just popped up on the injury report.
And I would imagine it is out of an abundance of caution, but
Sure.
I promise that our man Andrew DiCecco will not be guessing. He'll have a better idea of what we're looking at here because when you're there, he'll be able to feel the vibes of what was their tension, was their nervousness.
Right. Well, and also something to keep in mind, the Eagles are flying down Friday?
They're flying down tomorrow afternoon. They're going to have their practice tomorrow, and then they're going to fly down.
So injured players sometimes don't make the trip. Like, we'll find out who's on the flight and who's not. So, pretty rough day when it comes to the injury report for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm listening to Unfiltered going, what the hell's going on Unfiltered?
So, coming up next.
I say that often, though, when I listen to Unfiltered. But
so, Johnny asked me a question yesterday on Post-Show Headlines, which is the segment we do on YouTube after every single show. It goes against your confidence values when it comes to the Eagles, Johnny. It's something that I think crept out of you, and I wonder how many of you out there have this gene. We'll get into it coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Kincade and Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m. The Midday Show, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Unfiltered.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucs. How dangerous is this Bucs team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. You know, we've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak. He always
Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right, 6:14 on this Thursday morning. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, so yesterday. Now, again, keep in mind, this is before all of the flurry of injuries came out for the Philadelphia Eagles. Nolan Smith, IR, Jacorian Bennett, Darius Cooper, Zach Bond on the just practice injury report, Jahad Campbell, Dory Jackson, questionable, which means Keely Ringo could start on Sunday. So Connor,
you can barely even reset all the injuries.
I know. Well, we're going to have to do it actually I have another segment in the show planned to reset all the injuries. So Connor, yesterday during post-show headlines, we do 5 topics, 2 minutes apiece, then we get the hell out of here. That's what I say every day on post-show.
Well, I've been a part of it.
I know you have. So John had a question/topic. When you know that there is another team that you're about to face in football that's banged up, as we know, the Bucs are really injured. Does that add to your confidence, or do you worry about the wounded dog?
It adds to the confidence. I don't really think about that caged animal type of thing.
So you don't?
No.
You and me, right away, didn't even think about it. Let's go Birds.
I always think of it that way. And it goes. I think it goes back to something where, it was one thing working for a professional sports coaching staff for 4 years of my life, and seeing how they would go about things. One of the things Keenan always had a big thing about was he always felt that if there was a huge game set up.
Sure.
The Rangers were coming in. The Bruins were coming in. Something like that. He never was worried. He was worried about when the Hartford Whalers were coming in.
Sure.
He was worried then. And he would always just say, they're going to have their effing heads up their ass tonight. I know it. And it would just be this, they're going to look at this team and they're going to look past it. I think I've always heard that message. And I always found it as a coach myself, even though just high school, club hockey, things like that. I found that my team would always be up for the big games.
Yeah, I think that's natural.
And then they'd sleepwalk through playing Harrington.
Right.
They'd sleepwalk the Radnor game.
But also, I understand the opposing team, the team that is injured, playing up because they're hurt. But
exactly.
How many weeks can you do that? They were hurt last week against the Jets, and they squeaked out a win against the Jets. But it's funny. I think that's also a Philadelphia thing that crept out of John.
And that's not me
that's not
by
you.
nature.
It's
By
not
nature,
you at all.
No, my usual nature.
Right.
But maybe that's lying underneath the surface.
I first example I came up with was the Joe Webb game. That was Joe Webb.
Tuesday?
Joe Webb's going to beat the Eagles? No way.
The game that never should have been canceled?
Right.
I was at that game.
Nation of wusses. But
wussy boy of all wussy boy things that this city has ever done.
Nation of wusses, as the Gov said.
We can't play that game.
But it's amazing. Something crept out of John.
And it's weird because that's not me.
Now I wonder.
But it was there.
I would love for people to chime in on this. Because, look, tomorrow's Football Friday. Tomorrow's big lock-in, Eagles-Bucks. And, oh, by the way, Andrew DeCecco today from 8 to 10 for 2 hours. So it'll be nitty-gritty football talk from 8 to 10 today. But we get to still have kind of lighter conversations. That's a Negadelphian thing that came out of John. What is, the number one Negadelphian thing that comes out of you? Because we are in a good mode right now. Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Phillies are about to get to the playoffs for the 4th straight year, and it's actually clicking right now. What is your number one Negadelphian thing that creeps at you? Do you have anything that off the top of your head, Connor?
Absolutely.
What
if there's a big game, and then there's another ancillary Philly sports game, let's say the Phillies have a playoff game and the Eagles are just playing a week whatever game. I need the Birds to lose. Because I don't believe that you're going to get 2 big wins in the same day.
So you wanted the Sixers to lose to the Bucks the day of the Super Bowl.
Had to.
When we were doing the pregame show from Patty Wax, not that the Sixers were playing for anything at that point, we saw Sixers-Bucks, and the Sixers lost. We celebrated it. Because on February 4th of 2018, the Sixers lost to a team, and the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
We can only have one good thing at a time, boys.
Now, I'll give you one, and I think everybody agrees. Phillies will score 1 run tonight. Because they scored 11 last night.
Yeah.
That's the thing that comes out of me. All right, so the great win last night. They're going to score 1 run tonight.
How about the well, no, that would be, I guess it would be the same sort of comment as I know I've done that. You made fun of your dad the other day for saying to you, We need to stop
Need
here.
to stop here.
Okay.
Needs 6 here.
But I could see myself saying, save some of these runs. So that's sort of what you just said.
Yeah.
Save some of these
Save
runs,
some of these
boys.
runs for tomorrow.
Like I know that, but I don't know that. I think that goes any fan base.
It could be.
I don't
yeah.
think that's just. And also, too, I'm never the Negadelphian. But I was, when you brought that up, I said to myself, maybe that's laying down there below the DNA. It's in the DNA.
Yeah.
But it shows itself maybe just every once in a while.
All right, so that's something I want to hear from you on the text line. Look, the high of today is the Phillies' big day yesterday. The low of today is unfortunately the Eagles' injury report, which we'll continue to update you on throughout the course of the show. But what's your number one Negadelphian thing? Because I never heard something like that come out of John Kincade until yesterday.
And we've worked together quite a while
I know.
now.
You were looking at the opposing team injured. You're going, oh, man, that actually kind of concerns me. 610-632-0975. Now, coming up next, somebody said something about the Eagles that I don't think is actually wrong. Because if you listen to this show daily, I've actually celebrated it. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A homer party at the bank. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies clinched a first-round bye last night with a home run party at Citizens Bank Park, beating the Marlins 11-1. Jesus Luzardo went 7 innings, 10 strikeouts in his final start of the regular season, but the home runs were the story, with the Phillies hitting a franchise record 8 in the game. Bohm, Stott, Kemp hit 1 apiece. Schwarber hit numbers 55 and 56 on the year, and Edmundo Sosa
down the left field line. Sanoja's going back, and it's gone! 3-home run game. Edmundo Sosa.
What a night for him in his return from the injured list. Game 3 with the Marlins is tonight at 6:05 p.m. Walker Buehler versus Jansen Junk. That audio we played courtesy of NBC Sports Philly. Now let's get to the bad. The Eagles had a wild day of injury news yesterday. Nolan Smith, Jacorian Bennett, and Darius Cooper were all placed on injured reserve. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, and Adoree Jackson all did not practice. So the Birds now have some significant injury concerns heading into their matchup with Tampa Bay and for the coming weeks. We're going to talk to Andrew DiCecco about that from the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. This update is brought to you by ExpressPros.com. Getting a new job can be easier with Express Employment Professionals. With Express, you'll have a local connection to the job market. Get started at ExpressPros.com to find a location near you. I'm Connor Thomas on your own for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Every game day right before the Birds take the field, check out the Birds.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucks. How dangerous is this Bucks team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
the Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. We've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that's what it's like with Jalen Hurts in the form of a tush push. So Jalen Hurts is a little bit more team-oriented in the tush push. Tom's seem to be a little bit more individual. And I would say that the comparisons are a little bit like the plays that they ran on quarterback sneaks. Jalen got a little help from his friends. Tom was a little bit more of a soloist, but they're both winners. They're both champions. They're both producers. They both get the job done. Jalen's done it now once, though. One Super Bowl title, right?
Yes.
One, right? So, again, the more he wins, the more valid those comparisons will become.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0.
International.
And they're heading to Tampa.
The missus is about to take her flight down. She's leaving a day early. Spoiled.
Good for her. She only works for like a lot harder than we do.
That's true. Taking care of people.
Notice I said we. Notice I said we because angels like your wife gave me my life back.
We always love nurses, man.
Yes.
Respect them all.
And
doctors,
they're usually
medical
very
professionals.
attractive too.
Yeah, hey, she is.
There's something about a nurse though they're angels because they give you your life
Halloween's
back.
right around the corner, Johnny.
They give you your life
Damn
back.
right it is.
Damn right it is.
No, you're taking it to a whole new level. I'm talking
You're
about
the one that
I'm a little
says
bit
they're
upset.
usually attractive.
No, because of the fact that they give you your life back, they usually have a very nurturing nature.
You're right.
So they're very kind, they're very sweet, and you just fall in love with them. They're wonderful. Love them all.
Like my wife.
I
some
love
of them are
all my
sexy.
nurses at CMOH. You know I love you all.
But she said everybody is wearing green on the plane.
That's amazing.
And knowing, let's see, I did drive her to the airport today. No, she's not. So she's probably the only person on this flight. A full flight at 6:30 in the morning to Tampa, packed
kidding me?
with Eagles gear, which is cool. So there's going to be a lot of Eagles. When I was down there for the Monday night game, it was 50-50. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It was 50% Eagles fans,
Wow.
50% Bucks fans. Because it's just the way that it is in that fan base, right? Look at the Rays. They fill half their building because half the people, more than half the people that live in the Tampa area aren't Tampa, born and raised. They're transplants, so they're fans of other teams.
My brother lived there, was in the sheriff's department for 28 years.
Yeah.
And it's
and he never changed his allegiances.
No. And believe me, the Tampa-Delphia club, by the way, down there, there's a few, but there's one called Tampa-Delphia.
Okay.
It's freaking huge.
Yeah, and I'm sure they go to the games.
I guarantee you there is a huge party they have planned.
Yeah.
That they'll all be there on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, but our party with Philly Sports Fix will be the
man.
one that no one can touch.
But I'm telling you right now, it's going to be 50% Eagles fans. I can't wait. All right. So there was a clip that's been circulating around social media from this week. And John, I think your response to it was spot on because I feel the exact same way. However, I don't think the messaging is all that off considering I don't mind it. And I've been honest about it.
Okay.
Earlier this week, Drew Brees was on First Take with Stephen A. doing his quarterback rank.
It's his new part of his gig.
Right.
A weekly appearance on
because the 10-year contract with NBC lasted, I think half a season because he was abysmal.
No, he honestly.
He was horrible.
He is like Drew Brees on television is like listening to a podcast where somebody reads the obituaries.
Hall of Fame quarterback, seems like a great dad. All those videos him throwing footballs.
He's a great dude.
But when he was on the microphone, it was like, hello, I'm Drew Brees.
He couldn't.
That was a 5-yard pass.
Now I'm going to steal a Shaq line.
Okay.
I'm going to steal this from my man Shaquille O'Neal, my partner for 6 years. He couldn't ad-lib a fart after a baked bean dinner. I mean, he has no ability behind a microphone to be glib, to just let it fly because he's so guarded, or he might just not be, quick firing on the synapses.
Might just not be good.
Might just not be good at
right.
it.
There's some
By the
guys
way,
that aren't.
Joe Gibbs, one of the brightest coaches of all time, was terrible on TV.
Yeah.
Joe Montana, the worst guest ever you could have on Radio Row.
Sure.
At a Super Bowl. He was and Joe Montana, like the greatest.
Right. There's some guys that just can't cut it.
They bring Joe Montana around at Radio Row, and it was like, oh, no.
So this was Drew Brees earlier in the week because he did not have Jalen Hurts, I think, in his top 5 quarterbacks or whatever. I don't really care about that, but listen to what he had to say about the Eagles' offense.
I respect Philly. They are winning games. They're finding a way to win games. I can't stand to watch that offense. It's the most boring offense. It is. We're in week 3. We're gonna be on every week. Let's just see how this thing plays out.
Okay. I mean, is that your way to say? Can Boren win the Super Bowl championship? Can Boren repeat?
Hey, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. So
But that's the toughest division in football too. Let's see how it plays out.
So he says
wait.
they're it's not the toughest.
toughest-
I bet you he meant conference.
Again.
Maybe.
Again, he's just.
Yeah, it's not the toughest division.
That's not prepared.
That's just there hasn't been back-to-back winners in 20-plus years, so I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh my God.
The Eagles' offense can be boring, and if you've listened to this show,
I think the Eagles' offense is boring.
and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's not, look. Drew Brees' offense was sexy and exciting and everything. And what did it do? 10-6, 10-6, 11-5, 10-6. And what the hell did Drew Brees win once?
You know what's not boring?
Once.
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. What have they won?
Nothing.
They got to the Super Bowl a few years ago. That was great. That was when people were still on rookie contracts and they could afford players. There's more exciting offenses for sure. But what we saw last year, and it's something that I pointed out a couple of times, the return of the back. What were the final 4 teams in the NFL last year? Eagles, run heavy. Commanders, yeah, sure, the flair of Jaden Daniels, but they were a very run-heavy offense.
They were.
The Chiefs were not 5,000-yard Patrick Mahomes Chiefs. It was a lot of things underneath. It was rely on the defense.
A lot underneath.
And running the football for 3 yards in a cloud of dust with Isaiah Pacheco when he came back from his injury, Kareem Hunt, and Samaje Perine, right? That was it. I think he was still on the team. And then the Ravens were a team that ran the ball with Derrick Henry. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is exciting, but it was very Derrick Henry led.
Look, Drew Brees is trying to here, and I will tell you this, and you'll learn this the more time you spend in Bristol.
And Bills, by the way, sorry, they were the other team in the AFC Championship game. James Cook run the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
When new people come in as NFL analysts, they're all trying to make the name for themselves. And one of the things they say to them is say something memorable. Make sure you say something bold and memorable.
Right.
So whatever you believe in, make sure you make it bold. Make sure you make it that people are gonna react to it and everything. I guess he was trying to say something bold and memorable, and the Eagles right now are the biggest social media traction team in the NFL.
Sure.
And it's not close. It's not even close.
Because there's some people that hate watch them.
Right.
There's some people that love them. Well, some people Philadelphia and Jersey and Delaware. We love them. But there's a lot of hate watching the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I think there was a great response. Here was Jeff Saturday, who actually lost to Drew Brees and the Saints in the Super Bowl many moons ago. Here was Jeff Saturday's response to Drew Brees.
A quarterback saying that running the ball is not fun to watch. I mean, they have won 19 of 20 games doing it a certain way. And a Super Bowl, by the way, in the mix of all of this. And you're going to go call a boy. I guess winning is boring, but I like watching boring. And I love to watch offensive line play, which is much more impressive to me. And now let's talk about Breeze and the Saints, who I lost a Super Bowl to, so I'm still salty about that.
Unbiased take comment.
Sydney slants and check down Charlie. And all of a sudden, we just act like we're airing it out. I think they completed like 27 passes against us 2 yards or less. That's the same as running the ball, Drew. Oh, you got me hot, dude. You got me flashing back to my old days and talking trash about the best O-line in the game. No, sir.
All right, so I have a follow-up question. Our first question today, because today's one of these more open days, right? We'll dive deep into the Eagles-Bucks game from 8 to 10 with Andrew DeCecco. We're two fake football guys, Johnny.
Well, no, we're in training.
John had a little Negadelphian come out of him, realizing the injuries to the Bucks before all the injuries to the Eagles and going, I'm worried about that wounded dog theory, right? What is your number one Negadelphian thing that creeps out of you? The second question I have for you. The Eagles' offense is boring. Let's be honest. It is. I'm okay with it because they win. How much do you care about being entertained when your team is good? Like, the Phillies are a good baseball team, and they were entertaining last night, hitting 8 home runs. So they were entertaining, and they're good. The Eagles are a boring offense.
And I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it. I don't know how many people are.
I don't care what Drew Brees thinks about it, but you know what,
I'm curious about our own fan base.
And I think many people may agree with Drew.
So how much do you care about being entertained when ultimately your team is good? Text in with that at 610-632-0975. We'll discuss that more as a show coming up next, but we'll also check our text line for the first time this morning. Coming up next, it's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention, Delaware Valley. 97.5 The Fanatics Unfiltered with Ricky Bowe and Bill Colarulo.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucks. How dangerous is this Bucks team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost the playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning, we've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that's what it's like with Jalen Hurts in the form of a tush push. So Jalen Hurts is a little bit more team-oriented in the tush push. Tom's seem to be a little bit more individual. And I would say that the comparisons are a little bit like the plays that they ran on quarterback sneaks. Jalen
97.5thefanatic.com. There are no excuses.
Kincade and Salciunas is live right now on YouTube.
The Fanatic app,
97.5thefanatic.com.
any streaming device, and of course the radio.
Now, back to the show.
All right, 6:41 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Before we get to our text line, is there a more demoralizing feeling than hitting the ball to right field and getting thrown out at first base?
No, probably not.
So Alejandro Kirk, who's a very good catcher for the Blue Jays, that's how he ended the game. They lost 7-1, so it's not like it was a one-run ball game. But he hit a base hit to right field, but got thrown out at first. But he's a big man. He doesn't motor.
So he wasn't doing like the Harper.
No.
It's not important that I run.
No,
hard.
he was running.
He was running hard.
Just doesn't. He's like Benji Molina.
Oh,
right?
jeez.
He just doesn't move all that well.
I did believe my father told me I ran like I had a piano on my back.
Oh, I heard that multiple times in my life.
You did too?
Yeah. I was fat, John.
Okay, well, I wasn't fat, so that's worse. So that makes it worse.
That does make it worse.
It makes it worse that I wasn't fat. In fact, you could count my ribs.
By the way,
till like 10th grade.
Guy that runs with a piano and a water jug and an elephant on his back is Alec Boehm.
Oh, yeah.
I hate
gosh,
I
yes.
hate watching him run. When he hits the ball, I close my eyes. It's so slow. You got these long ass legs. It should be 4 steps to the bag.
Right.
Some people ain't built for speed.
My God, does he run
Well,
slow?
the thing is, though, I think a lot of it is form. And sometimes I think people from the beginning, when you learn to run,
sure, yeah.
if you're not sort of taught to run properly, you're into habits. You're not going to be retaught how to run.
Right.
It's hard.
That's sure.
Unless you're running track or something.
Right. Well, and that's when you're
Right.
practicing your form.
Right.
All right, Connor.
Yes.
John and I just talked about it. And if you're just tuning in, one of our questions today, because Drew Brees said earlier this week on ESPN that he hates watching the Eagles because their offense is so boring. And then Stephen A. Smith did follow up and ask him, does boring win Super Bowls? And he said, yeah. Do you care if your team is boring even though they're good?
A little bit. Like deep down, would I like the Eagles to win and also be the most exciting offensive football? Sure, because I'm
the
a
greatest show
offense
on
guy.
turf.
But at the end of the day, I'm a win over everything guy. So I will absolutely put that in the back seat. Like, I'll take what the Birds are doing right now. I don't really think about, it needs to be more exciting. Now, if it was, would I enjoy it more? Absolutely. But baseline level for me, man, I'm Jalen Hurts-septed, bro. Keep the main thing the main thing.
Well, and maybe he's the reason why we have that mentality, right? Because he is boring. Like, Jalen Hurts is, well, I can't say he's boring because, if people are into fashion, he's not a boring guy when it comes to fashion. That's just not me. Like, I'm not a fashion guy.
You're not a fashionista.
I do like his music. So, he and I relate when it comes to music. But, do I really want to necessarily hang out with Jalen Hurts? I don't think so. But they win football games. And the style of offense sometimes is boring, but they win football games. It's not if you played Madden with this team, you'd probably put up 60 points and have a lot of fun playing Madden with this football team. But in real life isn't Madden. So it is a boring product to watch, which I will be honest, sometimes I'm amazed by the numbers of viewers for people watching Eagles games, like the national numbers. Obviously, here we're going to be locked in even if Coy Detmer's playing
But
quarterback.
do you believe it's the hate watching?
I'm sure some of it, yeah.
Because I think that when you're great, people just tend to be drawn to the greatness of the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Eagles, it's important to note this, and so I had to go up and dig it. So I went back and dug up the national TV numbers for the past 20 years because I was able to get numbers here for the past 20. Now, this is done from 2024, before the 2024 season. So it's before last year.
Okay.
Over a 20-year period, do you know that the Eagles are a top 4 team in national TV ratings on national games?
It's amazing.
So the Eagles, now remember, that's the whole Andy Reid era.
Well, Andy Reid,
part of it.
They're good. Then you have the T.O., Chip, and before Chip, you had the Vic, Deshaun,
So the Eagles
Shady.
were, over a 20-year period, were a top 4, okay? Dallas Cowboys are in that top 4, which you can probably figure.
New England.
New England was in the top 4. Who's the other team?
I'd imagine it's the
Pittsburgh.
Eagles.
Very good. Who said Pittsburgh?
Oh,
Me.
Very
No, he already had the Eagles in there.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Very good.
Well,
Do you know who?
they were
Do you,
very
do you know? Do you know who's 5? Now this is before 2024, so it doesn't take an advantage last year or part of this year.
Right.
Do you know who's 5? Last 20 years.
I'm going to go
Seattle?
with one of the markets. I'll go like a Jets or Giants, even though they stink.
It shocks me. This one shocks me
Denver.
because it goes against what you just said.
Oh, really? Small
Completely
market.
against it. Completely against it. Smallest market in the NFL.
Arizona?
Green Bay.
Well, that's a historic team.
And you had, but the thing is, here's where you show your age.
Okay.
For me growing up, the Packers were pathetically terrible.
Sure.
One of my neighbors in Atlanta, Don Mikowski, was the Magic Man.
Okay.
One of the most wonderful person, great guy, great fun to golf with. But when Magic was with the Packers, when I grew up, the Packers sucked.
Right.
And all we ever heard about is the Packers were this legendary franchise, and the Packers were terrible.
Right, but our generation,
and your generation thinks Favre.
I've
thinks
seen
Rodgers.
3 quarterbacks.
Right, you think
it's
Favre,
like Pittsburgh.
Rodgers, right.
I've seen 2 Steelers coaches in my lifetime.
Now
there's been 3 over the last 60 years.
Now my whole lifetime, Steelers have been the gold standard of
Steel curtain.
I think gold standard almost of pro sports of never having been terrible.
Sure.
My entire lifetime, snow on the roof, still looking this good though, but I mean, they never ever being terrible.
Which could also be their detriment because they're never bad enough to get a good quarterback, and that's why they are where they're at right now. All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? You can text the show 610-632-0975. What is like the number one Negadelphian thing that creeps out of you? And then the entertainment value when it comes to watching your favorite teams, obviously all the Philadelphia teams, how much do you care about being entertained when your team's good? Because the Eagles are a boring offense. Despite the names, the offenses run boring sometimes, but they're great. What do we got?
Mike in San Antonio, funny enough, first-time texter, but he brings up the Spurs, and he says Spurs basketball was boring. All that team did was win. Nobody complained.
Yeah, Mr. Fundamental with Tim Duncan.
Now, the weird thing is, he says nobody complained. Now, that's a great example, and it's one I hadn't thought of. I complained.
Yeah, but you're not a Spurs fan.
He's talking about
No. The Spurs fans didn't complain. I thought Spurs basketball was painful to watch. Like, to me, absolutely painful.
You don't appreciate a bank shot. It's
exactly.
okay.
And
I
also,
respect the bank.
And also, I had my issues with Tony
Pacquiao.
Personal with Tony Parker, personally.
Manu. Knocking out bats out of the air.
But I
Thiago Splitter.
Like, Spurs basketball to me was not a golden era of basketball to me. But the thing is, I should respect it so much more because it really was great basketball.
Yeah, it was.
But it wasn't. I grew up on Lakers Showtime, Dr. J, the Boston Celtics,
Boris
and everything.
Diaw wasn't doing it for you?
I think he's anti-Euro.
I think that's what it is.
I know. Sign me up. I sort of am. All
right.
Everybody chucking up threes bores me to death, too, by the way.
Coming up next, a lot of complaints about how boring the offense could be is because of the quarterback, right? Not from us, nationally. Jalen Hurts was asked about his struggles against Todd Bowles yesterday. So we will play that clip for you coming up next. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Major injuries for the Birds. I'm Connor Thomas, and it was a rough day injury news-wise for your Eagles. Nolan Smith, Ja'Cory Bennett, and Darius Cooper were all placed on injured reserve yesterday, kind of out of nowhere. And Zach Vaughn, Jahad Campbell, and Adoree Jackson all did not practice. So the Birds now have some significant injury concerns heading into their matchup with Tampa Bay this weekend down in Florida. We'll be watching the injury report closely today. We hopefully all were watching that Phillies game closely last night, though, because they clinched a first-round bye with an 11-1 win over the Marlins. Jesus Luzardo went 7 innings, 10 strikeouts at his final start of the regular season. But home runs were the story, with the Phillies hitting a franchise record 8 in the game. Bohm, Stott, Kemp all went yard. Schwarber hit numbers 55 and 56. And Edmundo Sosa?
Pulled down the left field line. Sanoja's going back. It is gone! 3-home run game. Edmundo Sosa.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philly. Yes, his first day back off the injured list, and Sosa goes yard 3 times. Game 3 with the Marlins is tonight at 6:05 p.m. Walker Buehler faces Jansen Junk. Andrew DeCecco will join us from the 8 o'clock hour on. This update is brought to you by the Delaware County EDSI. Attention employers, fill your workforce fast. Join PA CareerLink's Fall Hiring Fest October 14th. Meet qualified candidates, speed interview, hire on the spot. Register at pacareerlinkdelco.org. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 76ers. Will this be the season they stay healthy and make a push toward...
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucks. How dangerous is this Bucks team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost the playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. You know, we've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they can be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that's what it's like with Jalen Hurts in the form of a tush push. So Jalen Hurts is a little bit more team-oriented in the tush push. Tom's seem to be a little bit more individual. And I would say that the comparisons are a little bit like the plays that they ran on quarterback sneaks. Jalen got a little help from his friends. Tom was a little bit more of a soloist, but they're both winners. They're both champions. They're both producers. They both get the job done. Jalen's done it now once, though. One Super Bowl title, right?
Yes.
One, right? So, again, the more he wins, the more valid those comparisons will become.
The Fanatic on this Thursday morning. A couple days from Eagles, Bucks. And, of course, one more game for the Phillies against the Fish. And then they got 3 games with the Twins. And then it's playoff time, baby. And that's why we've been discussing the highs and lows so far this morning. The highs, the 8 home runs for the Phillies yesterday, setting a franchise record, 3 of which were hit by one man.
I couldn't get over all the home runs.
And they love Sosa. Edmundo Sosa with 3 home runs yesterday. Schwarber had 2. Bohm had 1. Kemp had 1. Stott had 1 en route to an 11-1 win.
You know the sad part, though, with Kemp, the one thing, just saying it last night, and it took the great analysis of baseball. I think she should be on baseball tonight, Christina Kincade, with her broken fibula. Now stuck on the couch where she couldn't move from watching the game with me. She said, that Kemp, he's a really good story. Like, she likes him. And she goes, but you just can't play him in the field. And I said, you're bright.
Yeah,
she goes, he's
pretty bad at fielding.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
He's terrible in the field. You just can't. It's such a shame because he just can't. You can't play him in the field.
He's got a nice bat.
Because he has a really nice bat, but you can't play him.
There's a beautiful thing called a pinch hitter that may come in handy for him.
Exactly. Because
I'd rather be him than Jake Cave.
Boy, he's terrible.
Not to bring
he
up
needs one of
bad
those
times.
He needs one of those Johnny Bench bataways. Wait a minute. That's weird you said Jake Cave. Because last night, talk about that. My wife says to me, what happened to the gray-haired guy? And I said, what gray-haired guy are you talking about?
The 22-year-old gray beard.
She goes, the gray-haired guy that was on the Phillies. And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Jake Cave.
And she goes, the gray-haired guy that was on the Phillies. That was what it was. And she was like, look, Jake Cave.
You always want
guy.
your season come to an end with Jake Cave.
Yeah, that's always good for you.
Also, the lows for the Eagles. We'll update you more on the injury report coming up in the next segment.
Boy.
But, man, was there a lot of them, including the big one, Nolan Smith, heading to IR and might not be back until week 9 following the bye week. That per Adam Schefter. So, look, we'll update you because there's a lot of them.
Why would you rush him back?
No, you're
not
going to.
Let him be ready for what you need him to be, but hopefully you can get past it.
Just means step on up Zadarius Smith, and I'm guessing Azeez Al-Jilari will actually be dressing on Sundays.
That would be nice.
All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We'll get back to our text messages. Our 2 topics for you to answer. 1, what is that Negadelphian thing that creeps out of you every once in a while? Because John Kincade worried about the wounded dog theory. This was before all the Eagles injuries, so maybe it evened out for you.
By the way,
maybe it's good now.
By the way, Timmy, and by the way, he spells it Timmay. He says he doesn't believe it's a Negadelphia Philly thing. He goes, though I appreciate it, he thinks it's every fan base has that.
I don't fear it.
No, he thinks it's every fan base, though, talks about the wounded dog. He goes, I don't think it's a Philly thing that people go, wow, the wounded dog.
Because
honestly, I don't think of the Joe Webb game. That a team that's
I've heard it.
A wounded dog is the most dangerous dog. Any coach will tell you that. A team that they're most dangerous.
Right.
A team backed into a corner.
Right.
A team
but they were backed into a corner last week already. Like, this is the 2nd straight week of them being wounded. They're not going to go undefeated as wounded dogs.
No.
Also, at some point, the wounded dog, not to be morbid, but
Old Yeller. We've seen the movie. But
what happens? Don't spoil it.
I won't tell you then. It's a fun, heartwarming film.
Okay, good.
But the thing with Wounded Dog, I see that as like a team that's starting the season 0-2, and they got to win week 3. Not so much they don't have players.
The team is 3-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Situationally wounded is totally different than physically wounded.
Okay.
By the way, speaking of morbid, real quick.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, no, that's always a good transition.
Before
One of the best. Young radio people, listen to Andrew here. This is a good
Before
thing.
we get to the Jalen Hurts audio on Todd Bowles. So we spent the night at my parents' house last night. And, my mom, God bless her, she put out the travel coffee mug for the drive, right?
Okay. Be sure to return it.
She's got a lot of Halloween. No, it's the plastic cup.
Okay.
Throws in the trash. It's Halloween theme, everything in her house. She loves decorating. The cup had a ghost on it, and it said "Future Ghost" on there.
Well,
she ain't wrong.
She's not wrong.
That's a great line.
That's a little morbid.
No, it's not. It's a wonderful thing.
Future Ghost, I'm going to die one day.
How about this? We got one of those digital picture frames. You ever seen those ones where, do your parents have one?
No.
Where like you can load pictures to it. So I can take pictures that we took, load it to it on digital, and then they just constantly roll through our thing. So when I walk in the morning, the living room's dark, but when I walk past it, the picture frame comes on automatically by motion.
Right.
Every morning before I leave, I go get my iced tea that's already prepared out of the refrigerator. I get the little protein shake out. I see Betty Kincade.
Oh, yeah.
Betty Kincade comes up on a picture. I see my mom before I go to work every single morning.
That's
and I
beautiful.
say, hey, Betty. And I always think that's Betty's ghost.
Yeah.
That's Betty saying, yo, what's up?
Well, it's not her
work.
saying, see you soon.
Oh, no, but she messes with the lights. She does all kinds of stuff.
All right. Speaking of morbid, Jalen Hurts against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah, that's morbid.
I think it's going to be better this weekend. I
Why?
feel very confident.
Why?
I just feel confident.
Explain the confidence.
Feel. Just feel.
No, I need more than your feelings because I don't trust your feelings.
Did you not get my feelings against the Chiefs? Dub.
Wait a minute. Whoa. No. You can't do that.
Whoa. You're the guy
You're the guy
you're the guy who did floodgates for the Phillies offense a couple weeks ago on field.
On field.
No,
And
but
then
the
it
thing
happened.
is,
Sometimes it's feel.
I think I've been very good with my instincts as all along. My long-term instincts never have not failed.
Oh, we've got an instinct off.
I feel good about my instincts. I'll put my instincts against your instincts any day.
Really?
Here was Jalen Hurts.
Mr. 2-2 in September.
I never said that.
You were okay with 2-2 in September.
But I never predicted it.
Well, you guys were setting up 2-2 to be, 2-2 be fine in September. I'm the one who drew the line in the sand and told you all.
There's nothing to do
Don't
with
be okay. The instincts were, no, this is a great team. Don't set that as this September.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with what we were just talking about.
I'm not sure you know
Really?
what instincts are.
Yeah, he might not know.
I think I get great
That's why I
instincts
know
for
his
both of you.
instincts are off. Here was Jalen Hurts yesterday talking about Todd Bowles.
Bigger perspective, I think he's got a lot of tools and a lot of things in his system and what he does that is very challenging, and that's what makes them such a great team and a great defense. So knowing all of those things he has available, you just really want to trust the rules and trust the preparation of everything that you have. But just pointing out, this is a really good team, a really good defense, well coached, and it's always a competitive environment going down there.
So a couple of things. First off,
competitive environment.
Against that team. I love that Jalen. How many times in press conferences over the years has he said, "Can somebody ask me a question about the team?"
Yes.
Because I think he likes to not talk up the team and then beat them. Like I think he legitimately wants to talk ball.
He does.
Like
yes.
Jalen's a boring person. He wants to talk ball. That's all he cares about. And so that's an honest answer from him. But I also think, I said to you earlier in this week, and part of the reason why I feel good, Jalen Hurts had that moment in the second half against the Rams where it almost felt like, all right, this is his team now. Like it's the Jalen Hurts show. If Jalen Hurts really is being like the Jordan, or yesterday we had the Damian Woody clip that we played a lot where Damian Woody, the former teammate of Tom Brady, says, I see similarities from Jalen Hurts from a mentality standpoint, leadership standpoint to Tom Brady. Jalen Hurts is probably looking for any bit of motivation. They're 3-0. They won the Super Bowl last year. This is one of those games where it's like, if you lose, it's not the end of the world. But Jalen Hurts goes, screw that. It is the end of the world. And if I lose to this guy again, or if I play poorly against this guy, because they won on Monday night, but he wasn't great.
No.
If we can't show that we can beat this team handedly, there will be more talking points down the road. So I'm going to go out there and try to prove a lot of people that keep on bringing up my record against him, my numbers against him. And if he really, truly is trying to be Jordan, this is one of those weeks where yeah, this game doesn't totally matter, even though it should because of conference standings. Jalen Hurts, I think, goes out there and balls.
And again, you guys are too young you've seen the documentaries, but there was Chuck Daly, a Philly guy, Chuck Daly, who with the Detroit Pistons, early on, Jordan couldn't solve them. And they had a plan for Jordan, and they beat the hell out of Jordan.
Yeah.
And they made him look far more ordinary than other teams did.
Well, it's the bad boys.
And they had a game plan, and it worked nicely. It is interesting to watch because that again, there's something unlocked, and I swear to you, he touched the Lombardi, and something happened with Jalen Hurts that just makes me absolutely is just unleashing something in him. I love it because it sounds like one of those like his hero arc that something has driven him here. He wants to show something up to Todd Bowles. He wants to prove something. I think they're tired of hearing about it because no other team in the NFL has a talking point against Jalen Hurts. Only the Buccaneers. There's no other team.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has been a starter now. This is year 5. No other team has any kind of where they can say, yeah, we got a hand over Jalen Hurts. Even the 49ers, who had one moment in time, they don't have a long-term thing where they can say, yeah, we can point to that. The Buccaneers do. And I love the fact that Jalen Hurts, he's been in the lab. He's been studying.
Yeah.
And they're ready for this.
And I think he's real about it. Like,
I think he acknowledged it.
There's a lot of fake, I want to be like Mike out there.
Yeah, and he's not fake.
He's not.
No, he's not fake.
Look, because he's a cyborg. And we joke about it, but I'm serious. Like, part of me thinks if you take off some of his flesh, there's robots.
And the thing is, though, the part of our fan base that doesn't relate to him or doesn't warm to that hasn't packed for their trip tomorrow 3 days in advance like Andrew.
I did.
Or I will be packed.
Because I'm a cyborg.
I'll be packed by this afternoon. I've got everything laid out. There's certain people in life who are more cyborgish.
Yes. And
we see it and go, wow, we lap it up. And there's other people who are like, dude, Connor, throw everything in a bag an hour beforehand. Like, what are you doing? Why are you guys doing that stuff?
It all gets there.
And so I think that's why we hear this stuff out of Hurts, and it's like, oh,
hell yeah, man.
Bring it on, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming up next, we'll go through that Eagles injury report because there's a long list of them. Long list. But maybe it's happening at a good time, John Kincade asks or states. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Unfiltered with Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Real sports talk.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucs. How dangerous is this Bucs team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
the Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. We've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that's what it's like with Jalen Hurts in the form of a tush push. So Jalen Hurts is a little bit more team-oriented in the tush push. Tom's seem to be a little bit more individual. And I would say that the comparisons are a little bit like the plays that they ran on quarterback sneaks. Jalen got a little help from his friends. Tom was a little bit more of a soloist, but they're both winners. They're both champions. They're both producers. They both get the job done. Jalen's done it now once, though. One Super Bowl title, right?
Yes.
One, right? So, again, the more he wins, the more valid those comparisons will become.
The BetParx online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParx app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParx online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, 7:12 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. By the way, for those asking on our YouTube chat, shout out to our YouTube audience every single day. We love you. I'm wearing the old school Sixers black jersey today.
You're not wearing the new one. That's the old school.
Yeah, because they're not available. They're not available yet. People are wondering. Oh, nope. Are they?
I saw it on the news last night.
There's some that are already available?
I saw our man John Clark with one.
Oh, well, good for him.
I saw the right before Young and the Restless yesterday. I saw the. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the anchorman's name on channel 3.
Well,
I saw him holding up his.
Well, I'm not. I guess I'm not at that status.
I saw him holding up his right before Young and the Restless yesterday.
Not like the #1 Sixers fan on the station or anything.
I'm just saying.
But I'm rocking an Andre Miller jersey.
You've got one. You've got one of your own.
Yes.
You're not like. And I'm just telling you, John Clark had one and had the big gift box and everything.
Yeah, no, this is mine.
Just saying.
And in case people are wondering why Andre Miller, well, my Iverson jersey, like it's tiny. I'm gonna give it to Coop soon because it's like it would still be like a dress on him,
right?
But it's But my other ones are C. Webb or Elton Brand, and I think Andre Miller's the least hated among the three right now.
By the way, can I get? I saw it yesterday being offered by another media member in town. It's a unpopular opinion to some, but it's a opinion that I absolutely backed. Guys walking around in basketball jerseys. Now, I'm glad you wore it today because of the event.
Yeah, I wore it on purpose.
Yes, you wore it on purpose.
I literally, as I walked in, I said, John, this is for you.
Guys walking around in basketball jerseys looks real. It's not a good look.
On the beach, it's fine.
Most guys, I think it looks worse. I think it looks worse on the beach. Guys just do not. Guys don't. Most every single person I've ever seen wear one doesn't carry them off well. That's just what I'm saying. Doesn't carry them off.
I like a basketball jersey.
Guy doesn't know instincts. Guy doesn't know style.
He
don't know ball.
No, style. Style. Please. Give me a break with the style.
I'm a fashionista.
I've seen the style. I see guys like 40 years old. They're walking around there.
I'll wear my Bible jersey for you sometime.
No, thank you. Please don't.
All right. Eagles injury report. Is it happening at a good time? Let me give you the names, and then John will make his statement.
Oh, boy.
Nolan Smith, injured reserve, re-aggravated the injury that he sustained last year that he got surgery on, will not be back or might not be back, according to Adam Schefter, until after the bye, which would be week 9. Jacorian Bennett and Darius Cooper unknown injuries on the injured reserve. So Jacorian Bennett, that's big because Adoree Jackson's still listed as questionable with the groin injury for this Sunday's game. Jacorian Bennett would have been the starter. But if there's no Adoree Jackson, and now with Jacorian Bennett on the IR, that means Keely Ringo very well could be your starting corner on the opposite side of Quinyon Mitchell.
I can't wait till Andrew DeCecco's in because I did not know you were allowed to list somebody with an unknown injury.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was even legal because of I just didn't think that was
good point.
That you were allowed to do that. So I'm sure Andrew will have an explanation.
Zach Bond did not participate in practice yesterday. Neither did Jahad
I'm not
Campbell.
worried about that at all.
No, I'm sure the Eagles are good with that, with the midweek, giving a guy a day.
Jalen Carter's missed a day the last before games.
Right.
Week, so
Lane Johnson, the last 5 years, has taken a day off of practice.
Not worried.
Bond, though, listed as a knee. Campbell listed with a triceps injury. Lane Johnson, limited participant, but he looks ready to go for Sunday. Will Shipley, which is big, a full participant in practice yesterday with the oblique injury. Remember, last week's kick return game was horrible, so having Will Shipley back Sunday could be huge. But you wonder if this is a good, well, never a good time.
Not a good time.
But not a horrible time.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, okay, first of all, against Tampa, they are in worse injury shape than the Eagles are. The Eagles have far more of their top guys available for Sunday's game. Far more. So, already there, that's advantage Eagles. You're already a 3-0 start, by the way. Then you come home and you play Denver. Denver has not been lighting it up offensively. They're a really good defensive club, but they haven't been lighting it up offensively, so having some injuries on the defensive side of the ball, I'm not as concerned with Denver, and I'm not as concerned with Denver coming into Philly. So I don't know that that's a horrible thing. You get the Giants on a short week after that, and that can get tricky, I guess. But let me see what Jackson Dart's got. I mean, divisional games can be tricky, and on a short week, and you're going up to the Deadlands. And then you get 10 days off to get ready for the Vikings. I'm going to tell you, I think it's very survivable.
Sure.
And then that leads you up to your bye week, and you sort of take it where it is from that point on.
Kind of wish it happened after this week.
Yeah, I mean, then you're coming
win.
home. Then you're coming home to the Giants. Excuse me again, but before the bye week. But I mean, I'm not. I think this sort of, if it had to come at a time, I think this is sort of okay. They can navigate this.
I just wish it happened one week after. You know what I mean?
Why 1 week after? Because of a trip or because of Tampa?
No. I just want to win a conference game against a team that's going to win a lot of games this year.
They are, but as I told you before,
I still feel good about it. But I just wish, like, if you were asking me, I wish it happened.
No, but as I told you before about Tampa, remember with Tampa, as far as the contenders that we're talking about, if you beat Tampa Sunday, you will never have to worry about them being ahead of you in the NFC standings. I guarantee, capital G, guarantee it. Save the tape, cut it. They'll never be ahead of you. They're going to Seattle. They're going to Detroit. They're going to the Bills. They're going to the Rams. They have a murderer's row travel schedule. And the Bucs, they're good. They've just had a number of the Eagles. Remember, the Bucs, they've won 4 straight division titles going on a 5th. But they're a 10-6 team, 9-7 team winning divisions.
Right. I think this year it's going to be
11-6?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, 11
the Eagles will be ahead of that.
Okay, yeah. But, I mean, I'm not worried about the Bucs, but this weekend would just be permanent rearview mirror. You're winning the NFC East. So this weekend, we're going to get on that plane Monday and say the Eagles are going to be no less than the 3 seed.
Hell yeah, man.
Then it's just about seeding at that point.
By the way, we have a Harry Hardo alert. I love all our YouTube chat people.
What's that?
And I love Andy B., who's very active.
What's up, Andy?
No grown man should ever wear another man's name on their back.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Harry Hardo alert. Like, stop, dude.
That's ridiculous.
It's fandom, man. Come on, man. Once you grow, you don't wear other men's names on their back. Hardo alert. Harry Hardo alert.
By the way, every single Eagles player, every single Phillies player, every single Eagles player, every single Phillies player, they all have jerseys.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes see them coming to and from games, they all own jerseys. And they all have other players' names on their back.
They're professional athletes.
Oh, so they're allowed, yes. So then all the rules come in. Yeah,
All
stop.
Right. Coming up next.
Stop.
Pull you behind the curtain a little bit here. I read something that made me change the show sheet this morning, so much so that I told John and Connor about it, and I didn't even write it down. It literally says secret topic next. I can't wait to get to it because I think it is so...
I didn't know what you were doing
It
here.
is so egregious.
Oh.
But maybe we're too inside.
Really?
I don't know. All I can say right now is just trust me on this one, and we'll get into it next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A franchise record for the Phils. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies clinched a first-round bye last night with a home run party at Citizens Bank Park, beating the Marlins 11-1. Jesus Luzardo, well, he didn't go yard, but he went 7 innings, 10 strikeouts in his final start of the regular season. He was pretty much the only Philly who didn't go yard, though. They hit a franchise record 8 in the game. Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Otto Kemp all hit 1. Schwarber hit 2, numbers 55 and 56 on the year. And Edmundo Sosa.
Down the left field line. Sanoja's going back. It is gone! 3-home run game. Edmundo Sosa.
In his first night back off the injured list, yes, NBC Sports Philadelphia there with the audio. Game 3 with the Marlins is tonight at 6:05 p.m. Walker Buehler faces Jansen Junk. That's where the fun part of the update ends. The Eagles had a wild day of injury news yesterday. Nolan Smith, Jacorian Bennett, and Darius Cooper were all placed on injured reserve. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, and Adoree Jackson all did not practice with injuries, so the Birds now have some significant injury concerns heading into their matchup with Tampa Bay. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco coming up at 8 a.m. about the latest with the Eagles. This update is brought to you by Gary Barbero's on the Boulevard. Is Super Birds coach Nick and Barbero's on the Boulevard the best? Boy, I guess. And DallasStillSucks.com. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Philadelphia Flyers, full of youth, energy, and determination.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucks. How dangerous is this Bucks team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. You know, we've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that's what it's like with Jalen Hurts in the form of a tush push. So Jalen Hurts is a little bit more team-oriented in the tush push. Tom's seem to be a little bit more individual. And I would say that the comparisons are a little bit like the plays that they ran on quarterback sneaks. Jalen got a little help from his friends. Tom was a little bit more of a soloist, but they're both winners. They're both champions. They're both producers. They both get the job done. Jalen's done it now once, though. One Super Bowl title, right?
Yes.
One, right? So, again, the more he wins, the more valid those comparisons will become.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0.
Six here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, earlier this morning, 5 o'clock, hour before the show, when I'm building the show sheet, John sends his topics, Connor sends some topics, and
you're all
and then I piece it together like the evil scientist that I am.
You're evil.
Earlier, I had a Howie Roseman trade nugget prepared for this segment.
Correct.
But I will save that for 1 hour from now when our man Andrew DeCecco is here. Because
You went
why not?
nuts. You went nuts about whatever you uncovered. You went nuts about.
Because I read an article on ESPN, and as you know, even though I am an employee of the network, I still have my running battle with their computer systems.
Yeah, you don't even have a free ESPN.com membership yet.
How
have you not worked that out
That's
yet?
a good question.
By the way.
But
you can get one of them, just ask.
Their AI system at ESPN is like it's a mortal enemy of mine. Like, I want to fight it. Next time I go to Bristol, if there's an outage, you'll know why.
Okay.
Because I ripped the plugs. All right?
All right.
So they have an article, 2025 MLB playoffs, ranking teams by World Series pressure. The amount of pressure that is on these teams to win the World Series. All right?
Okay.
So they have a pressure index formula. Number 1, drought, like how long it's been.
All right.
Number 2, knock pressure. It's the teams that are
Who's there?
up.
The Buffalo Bills.
No.
Right? Knocking on the door but can't get there.
No, it's the teams that some years are above 500, some years under 500.
Oh.
They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
That's a weird way to say that.
I
but okay.
agree.
I think it's a weird way to say it, too.
Flickering star pressure. Stars that are getting up there in age and also toward the ends of their contracts.
Okay.
Number 4, Connor, please. Exodus pressure. Proud of me for this one?
I really love this.
Of the people. It's another free agent factor.
You're such an American.
Players with, again, more free agents and losing a star player hurts. So it's not just free agents, but who they are that are free agents. Like Kyle Schwarber is a free agent.
Good stuff.
He would mean more than Garrett Stubbs, respectfully. Lastly, father time pressure, getting up there in age. Right? So when I go through that, where would you put the Phillies among the 15 teams they have listed? Because we don't know all the teams that are in the playoffs yet.
I think extremely high.
Connor?
Yeah,
extremely high.
They've got to be top 2.
And this is why it's egregious. They have them at 9.
That's stupid. That's flat out stupid.
9.
That's that nine. That's stupid.
For all the reasons. No, and look. And
which category to you is most egregious? Like that they're not, like, to me, the expiring the Father Time one, the expiring contracts, those type of things. That's one that's huge.
So clearly,
it's huge.
The one that is weighted, I think,
huge.
most heavily is the weird knock thing, where 1 year you're above 500, the next year you're under 500. Like,
so it's like, this is your shot.
This is your shot.
You might not get another.
Correct.
Well, see,
so number one. The number one team with the most pressure to win the World Series is the Milwaukee Brewers.
I can on the knock. I can get that.
Right, and that's why that's clearly the one that's weighted.
I think that's most. I think that's well done.
And oh, by the way,
because does anyone expect that's going to be a consistent?
They've never won a World Series.
Correct.
Yeah, I get that.
I get that one.
Number two, the Padres.
Well, that's absolutely
never won a title,
and they were all in at the trade deadline.
And a lot of the money that they've spent even beforehand, Manny Machado, you name it. The Mariners, number three, never winning a title, knock, you name it. 4, the Guardians, knock, and last World Series 1948. 5, the Blue Jays. 6, the Mets. 7, the Yankees, for crying out loud. 8, the Tigers, and then we finally get to the Phillies at 9. Maybe, I said it in the tease, maybe we're 2 inside, right? We know the pressure that this Phillies team has, and their drought isn't as long as a lot of these teams. They are consistently in the playoffs. But when I see the way the team is made up right now with the potential free agents, it's no lock that Kyle Schwarber's back. We feel pretty comfortable that he will be back, but it's no lock.
We don't know what Zach Wheeler's going to be.
No idea.
Ever going forward, he may never be Zach Wheeler again.
So, to me,
we have no idea.
The Phillies having the 9th most pressure or 6th least amount of pressure?
It's absurd.
By the way, Dodgers last because they won the World Series last year. The Stros were 14th, Red Sox 13th, D-backs 12th. Cubs 11th, 10th was the Reds.
Boy, I debate Cubs.
But
that being that low.
9th?
That whole list is crazy.
That's really not well done.
And again, I told you, I hate the computer.
The thing is, though,
computer system, I hate it.
Well, that's not well done.
Could you, if the Phillies, look, again, this is winning the World Series. This is not like getting to an NLCS or whatever. But if the Phillies fall short of the goal, let's not act like maybe Kyle Schwarber goes, maybe I want to go somewhere else to try to win. Or JT Realmuto goes, I want to go somewhere else to try to win. Like, we don't know.
No, we don't know.
We don't know if Harrison Bader's back next year. There's so many questions with the future of this roster.
Huge. Like, I mean, it's incredible. Like, the differences are going to be made. I would tell you right now, if you're telling me what do you think's going to happen, I don't think Bohm's going to be back.
Castellanos.
I don't think Castellanos is going to be back. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Schwarber's back. I'm 80% he's back.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a foregone lock it down.
What if a team goes, I'm going to give him more money than
and
the Phillies?
And by the way, if there's anybody in the Philly media that you're hearing that is telling you, oh, well, this is the number, and Schwarber's camp has already talked numbers, and they want to be here, that's a bunch of crap. That's not going on right now because they're not talking.
Hey, by the way.
They're not talking right now.
Could there be a chance that they try to improve second base?
There could be.
Right? Like,
well, I also think.
I don't know what Stott's future is with the Phillies.
No, we don't know. Like,
so the fact that they're 9th, like, that's crazy to me.
That's crazy to me.
Now,
this is a team that really has.
Now, I want some reaction to this because is that us being too on the inside? I don't know. Like,
no.
Like, with all due respect to the Brewers never win a World Series, I get it. That's got to be hard
this
for a
has gotta
Brewers
be
fan.
This has got to be, though, when you're a small market team, and they all small market, and they have the number one. They have home field advantage and everything. They will never be in a better position to win a World Series than they will be this year. That is immense pressure.
Well, then why are the Tigers 8th?
Because the Tigers...
They're not going to pay Scooble, I don't think.
No, I don't think they will either.
So, like, wouldn't this be their one shot at it?
Yeah, but the Tigers...
By the way, they might not even make the playoffs.
Oh, my gosh.
They might have the worst collapse in Major League Baseball history.
Could happen.
I don't know, like 9th.
Wow. That's a really interesting. Now I know why you went, wow.
I went nuts when I read it this morning. I said, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, it's just dumb. I mean, it's just erroneous on all counts.
Is that like the computer spit that out?
Yes. They threw in whatever formula and algorithm, and that's what they got.
That's bad.
They have a number of whatever their pressure index is.
Okay, that's really bad. That's poorly done.
Well,
and I'm shocked.
It's not the writer's fault. It's whatever the computer system spit out. And that's why I have a rival with the computer system.
Now I'm going to completely disagree with you.
All right.
The writer has a chance to read the data and say, I completely disagree. The writer isn't AI, right?
Sure.
The writer has a chance to go, this is what the computer says. Here is why I disagree with what the computer says. If the writer then falls in line and just writes supporting data to back up bad stuff that's spit out of a computer, I blame the writer.
Here's what they wrote. Drought points are the most heavily weighted factor in the system, and the Phillies' 2008 title and 2022 pennant are recent enough to keep their score low in the category.
Absurd.
But they still land the top 10 of the pressure index because of the looming free agent class. Phillies have been building with the near-term window at the forefront of their planning for a few years now. At some point and soon, it needs to pay off with their third World Series crown in 143 years of existence. What do you mean by soon? Like, soon might be this year. This is the end of the majority of this core. I found that crazy.
And Aaron Nola's,
who knows who he is?
He got 6 more years of it?
Right, exactly.
And again, Zach Wheeler, and I'm not wishing anything. I mean, love Zach. But you don't know what he's ever going to be again.
No idea. All right, you can text in about that as well, 610-632-0975. Coming up next, it is going to be hot on Sunday. John and I might complain, and Vic Fangio will say, pipe down, wussy boys. Fangio spoke about the heat. We'll talk about that next here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia is a sports city full of passionate and knowledgeable fans.
Your intelligence shouldn't be insulted with outrageous takes.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucks. How dangerous is this Bucks team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. You know, we've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that's what it's like with Jalen Hurts in the form of a tush push. So Jalen Hurts is a little bit more team-oriented.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, a couple of things before we get to Vic Fangio and his lack of worry for the Heat on Sunday. We're not doing today's headlines with Connor Thomas because Andrew DeCecco is in studio with us. So start sending in your questions for DeCecco now at 610-632-0975.
Football guy Andrew, be sure to make it sure that it's for football guy Andrew so we know.
And Andrew DeCecco will answer them around 8:10. Questions for this upcoming game, questions for the state of the Eagles, you name it. Any Eagles-related questions that you have for Mr. DeCecco, start texting them in now. It makes Connor's life easier to just put them aside. So help Connor out. Think about it that way. Don't listen to what I'm telling you to do. Do a favor for Connor.
We're like 400 shows in, and now you're saying make Connor's life easier?
So text them in at 610-632-0975.
Are you so made like we don't look out for you every day like
seriously.
that?
All right.
Seriously.
Couple things. Number one, last night, Rays-Orioles. I know you guys were locked in.
No, it wasn't.
Rays beat the Orioles 6-2. The Orioles had a 21-year-old up, Samuel Basallo.
The Phillies were like, what?
Yeah, he's not allowed to play.
What are they
Way too
doing?
young.
What are they doing, idiots?
He's Baltimore's number one prospect, 8th overall in Major League Baseball. And Pete Fairbanks, the closer of the Rays, came up and in, plunked his wrist. Fortunately, X-rays came back negative.
Oh, my gosh.
But the Orioles took exception with where the ball was thrown. It was almost like a welcome to the MLB moment, like what Cole Hamels did to Bryce Harper many years ago. But, you come up and in. It's a little concerning. So there's barking being done. Pete Fairbanks closes out the inning. Game over. He proceeds to blow a kiss toward the Orioles dugout. My question, when you are 77-81 and you just beat the 74-84 Orioles, do you need to be blowing kisses toward the other dugout?
Yes. Beef doesn't know record.
No.
Like, this isn't Joe Kelly. Remember him, hothead?
Yeah.
This isn't Joe Kelly walking off the mound when it's like Dodgers-Stros.
No.
Right? This is Rays-Orioles.
No, you do not do that.
Like, come on.
You don't do that. More importantly,
Come on, dude.
there are veterans that will come up, guaranteed. And I've had.
He is a veteran.
No,
Fairbanks.
that will. Well, let me get out.
All right.
I've had the pleasure of being able to observe and once do a story on for the television of Kangaroo Court. That will come up in Kangaroo Court, and he will be fined heavily. He will be fined heavily by the other veterans in the room. They will fine him for that.
Unless they liked it.
No, they will fine him for that. That will be absolutely
What's there to like when you're both under 500?
That will be considered a clown show by his peers. That will absolutely be, and the coaches also get involved in the Kangaroo Court. That will be a finable offense.
That's just one of the like.
That's so stupid.
Like,
who are you?
You guys stop. Both of you guys.
Yeah,
stink.
but it's divisional, and they're in the same weight class.
Divisional Rays
Divisional.
Orioles.
Stop it.
Hey, they're in the
Because
same.
everyone thinks of the Rays and the Orioles as a divisional rival.
They're in the same weight. Listen, in years,
It's like Marlins Nationals. What a great rivalry that is.
I understand.
Just because they're in the same division.
But in a year where, let's say, the Phillies and Mets both aren't good, if something happens in a game, there could still be beef there.
There can still be beef, but that's not what you.
You know what that beef is? It's when you go to Costco and you buy like the 50 pack burgers.
Yeah, that's
that
not.
probably
No.
aren't really good for you.
No,
that's that
not.
beef that they got.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
The other thing, with all the injuries for the Eagles, we have not mentioned this yet. Did you see who they signed to the practice squad yesterday? Quez Watkins. I don't need to see him ever again wearing an Eagles uniform. I don't.
What I am trying to figure out, first of all, when we all say how much we trust Howie, okay, I am trying to say to myself, okay, trust Howie. I don't understand the fascination, though.
He was a big complainer of the Eagles. He was a guy on social media that complained about the Eagles. He complained at one point that he wasn't getting the ball enough, and it's like, yo, dude, like, when you do get the ball, you fumble or you drop passes.
Like, I seriously don't. I don't understand what the fascination is, because I don't think a lot of his behaviors displayed good teammate.
No. Now, look, the guy's got electric speed.
Yeah, he's fast and he knows the offense.
Yeah, and I will always think that if he had caught one pass, they win a second Super Bowl.
Could be.
Because he could have corrected the mistake that Jalen made by fumbling.
Yeah.
And he didn't bail him out with a play that I think every other wide receiver, every other guy on the team catches that is a wide receiver on this team. I'll look back on that game and just go, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Quez guy, but it's practice squad. Like,
no, I know. I just don't even around. Sorry. Yeah. I'll be harsh. I don't even around. All right. Vic Fangio spoke to the media earlier this week. We have not gotten into it till today.
Yes.
The heat is obviously going to be a big storyline Sunday. The feels like temperature at Raymond James Stadium is still being predicted for 103.
Yeah, now they're saying, this morning the local Tampa station, I got it pulled up because I have the little weather app. I got the weather app out. Now they're saying 102 this morning.
Oh, okay. So there's a...
Give me 102, but it's going to be...
Bring your jackets.
Because there's going to be no clouds in the sky.
Okay.
That's why they're saying it's going to be so bad, is that it's just going to be pure sunshine.
This just heat. Yeah.
Heat.
Yeah.
Which is going to be stanky.
Well, Vic Fangio, he don't give a damn about no heat. Here was Vic Fangio earlier in the week.
Well, it's too late to do anything right now for it as far as prepping for it. You don't practice in the heat one day and say you're acclimated, or take a pill and say you're acclimated. The key will be, it's a mindset, number one. Number two, we need to not let them have 8, 10, 12 play drives on us.
Like they did last time you played them. And the offense needs to be able to control the clock and control the ball a little bit.
Salty
like they didn't last year. No, he said the 8, 10, 12 drives. But
no, well, that was last year. That's what happened last year.
Yeah.
So you think that maybe he was a little salty that happened to his defense last year?
I would have been.
He's saying to them, like, come on, guys.
I would have been more salty toward the offense. Like, hey, can you give my team... Like, it was like Chip Kelly all over again.
Here's the one thing. I think it's very, very clear from every one of his quotes that he does not in any way believe they should go down a day early. Every one of his quotes is, you can't do anything to acclimate it. I don't even know, like, what are you doing? You can't get acclimated to it.
He's just worried he's going to miss a Phillies game. He's worried.
I think routine, I think going out of routine potentially matters to him. Creature of habit.
Sure.
That he might not like it. An extra night in a hotel for the guys, he might not like it. And more importantly, though, here's the thing that I don't like about it. It's a decision that the head coach made. And to me, I think you sort of just, you're the defensive coordinator, you fall in line and just say, fall in line.
Well, yeah, he's the head coach.
Fall in line. The head coach made a decision. It's clear he doesn't agree with it.
Are you sure? I don't think he's put up a stink about it.
No. But he's made 3 or 4 comments where he clearly says,
I'm sure
he's not going to do anything.
He's being asked about it.
But he's clearly not falling. Most coaches fall in line and then just give the party line. Well, I admire that Vic doesn't.
I wouldn't take this as he doesn't like it. I would take this as it doesn't matter to him.
Yeah, he's going to be wearing a sweatshirt.
Oh, I know.
Psychopath.
Man, that thing's going to stank.
Vic. I love that you're our psycho, but that's a wild thing to do.
They can just burn that thing and fly home on it.
It's like when you see your girl get ready in the morning. You're like, well, you got to do all that stuff. But it matters to her, so just let it go. Like, you don't understand it, but they do it.
Can I tell you, I don't see my girl getting ready in the morning. I'm here.
Well, yeah. It was an example, Andrew.
Listen to this.
When was the last time you seen a girl get ready?
The unmarried guy told us
no
this
comment.
Yeah, exactly. All right, coming up next, our man Andrew the Checker will join us for the final 2 hours of the show. First order of business, the injury report that we'll once again update you on in case you have not heard it yet. What does it mean for Sunday? Who gets elevated? Who plays more? Who plays, period? We'll discuss that next with Andrew the Checker, who joins us for the final 2 hours here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Multiple Eagles on the IR. I'm Connor Thomas, and we had a wild day of injury news for the Birds yesterday. Nolan Smith, Jacorian Bennett, and Darius Cooper were all placed on injured reserve, and Zach Vaughn, Jahad Campbell, and Adoree Jackson all didn't practice. So now the Birds have some significant injury concerns heading into their matchup with Tampa Bay. That's something that we'll keep an eye on. We're going to talk to Andrew DeCecco coming up next. He'll be with the guys for the remainder of the show for the latest on the Birds' injuries and their preparation for Tampa. The Phillies, well, they clinched the first-round bye last night. They had a great night at the bank. They beat the Marlins 11-1. Jesus Luzardo went 7 innings, 10 Ks in his final start of the regular season. And the big story was the home run. The Phillies hit 8, a franchise record in the game. Bohm, Stott, and Kemp hit 1 apiece. Schwarber hit 2. And Mundo Sosa, he topped them all.
Pulled down the left field line. Sanoja's going back. It is gone! 3-home run game. And Mundo Sosa.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Game 3 against the Marlins is tonight at 6:05. Walker Buehler versus Jansen Junk. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Looking for an exceptional driving experience? Experience the power, precision, and intelligence of an iconic Mercedes-Benz SUV at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Eagles are flying with one goal in mind. Win.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucs. How dangerous is this Bucs team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. You know, we've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak and They can be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that's what it's like with Jalen Hurts in the form of a tush push. So Jalen Hurts is a little bit more team-oriented in the tush push. Tom's seem to be a little bit more individual. And I would say that the comparisons are a little bit like the plays that they ran on quarterback sneaks. Jalen got a little help from his friends. Tom was a little bit more of a soloist, but they're both winners. They're both champions. They're both producers. They both get the job done. Jalen's done it now.
97.5thefanatic.com.
It is 7:55 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. And it's a Thursday, which means now, until the end of the show, we are joined by a special guest, a true football guy, Andrew DeCecco. Andrew, good morning.
Well, I don't know about special, but how you guys doing today? Great to be with you.
I found you special. Will own that. You will own that title, football guy.
I find you special. Thank you.
Injury report. In case people are just tuning in, as you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Nolan Smith heads to the IR, as well as Darius Cooper and Jacorian Bennett. We saw a couple players pop up on the injury report. Zach Ball and Jahad Campbell, they did not participate in practice yesterday. Adoree Jackson did not participate in practice yesterday. That, I believe, is still in doubt for Sunday. I'll ask the reporter next, which then would mean Kelee Ringo, because of Bennett's IR stint. Kelee Ringo could be your corner on the opposite side of Quinyon Mitchell. But I want to unpack this first. Mm-hmm. When did the Nolan Smith injury happen? We know that it's like he tweaked the injury that he suffered in the playoffs when he then got surgery on it. But when did that happen? Because I don't remember anything popping up last Sunday against the Rams.
Well, first I should say that the hope is that we're going to get to talk to Nolan today in the locker room.
Okay.
So hopefully he'll be available and we can ask him these questions. But presumably it happened in the game. And I heard you guys talking as I was driving in about Jacorian Bennett and maybe why wasn't that designated. The Eagles don't have to designate that. It happened on the final play of the game.
So it happened on the block?
It happened on the block. He took out the punter.
Yeah, he did.
And so before the first practice, he was placed on IR. So we're allowed to ask Jacorian Bennett, should we see him, about the injury, but they don't have to designate that. Now, Darius Cooper is a shoulder injury, and that's known, and we were sitting in the press box when they announced it, and the Eagles also put it out on their social media. So he's a shoulder, and now you know the Nolan Smith was the triceps, but the mystery, I guess, is Jacorian Bennett.
I'm going to guess shoulder, because isn't that what he dealt with, or what did he deal with with the Raiders? It was upper body,
yeah,
right?
It was shoulder. He had a lot of shoulder dislocation.
He led with his shoulder when he hit the punter, so maybe he re-aggravated something. I don't know.
I don't speculate, but hopefully Jacorian's around and we can ask him that.
Sure.
It tells me a lot, and you've been around teams and you've covered teams. When I love it when a team keeps things under lockdown. Yesterday, that was a surprise to every one of the beats, all of these things. That is a really admirable thing about the Philadelphia Eagles under Nick Sirianni. They're a unit. They're a tight unit. Nobody talks.
And that's just more evidence as to the culture that they've built. They don't. There's a lot of confidence and trust within the building there, and I think that you can see it manifest in different ways, and injuries are a big part of it.
And then Adoree Jackson, is it look like he's out Sunday?
So it's interesting because he had a helmet on and went through team stretches, and then that we didn't see much more practice after that. And then, of course, it was later ruled that he was a DNP. But the fact that he was out there, I think, conjures a little bit of intrigue going into today, so I'll be certainly keeping an eye on that. But, I mean, if he can't go, let's say, and you don't have Jacorian Bennett, that's going to kind of allow Kelee Ringo an opportunity here to showcase what he's been working on behind the scenes.
Now, I'll ask you because, I know a lot of people think highly of Kelee, and it was a rough training camp, which is why Adoree Jackson wins the job, which is why they bring in Jacorian Bennett. But Adoree Jackson, like so far, week one was bad. Didn't kill you the last 2 weeks. Is this one of those moments where if Kelee Ringo plays well, it could lead to more opportunities down the road? Because I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't seem like Vic Fangio's like all that in love with Adoree Jackson. He said right away that he'll be patient with him. But remember when training camp was happening, he was like, yeah, there's a reason why the Giants didn't keep him. There's a reason why this happened. I don't have much tape on him. Could this be a Keely Ringo overtakes the job if he plays well enough Sunday opportunity?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I even go back to when I asked Vic Fangio about Jacorian Bennett and what he's seen from him in the month since he's been with the Eagles right before the Dallas game. And he said, he's going to probably have to help us at some point this season, maybe even this week. And he said that before week 1. Keely Ringo, you heard what Vic Fangio had to say about him earlier in the week, that he talked to him, somewhat recently about stay ready. Your opportunity is going to come. You're going to have to help us at some point. It keeps players engaged, but it also illustrates the fact that they're not overly committed to any one player on that side because the play hasn't been overwhelming. So I think that leaves the door open to any of those players being able to step up and seize that opportunity. You also have to see what you have in those players before the trade deadline, before you have to go out there and potentially make a drastic move to address it. You have to really get a better idea of what you currently have.
You've only had 1 year of reading Fangio. You've studied Fangio a long time, but you've only had 1 year of reading what he says. Do you take it as, when you hear the comments you just made about like how he's talking about his personnel, as a level of displeasure, as a level of tweaking to get more out of them? How do you read it?
I read it as him sort of keeping every player, on their P's and Q's, being, I guess, optimistic at the potential opportunity of having their time. Adoree Jackson, I think he does deserve credit, guys, because week 1 wasn't good. Mm-hmm. Week 2, he rebounded, and I thought he did some good things against the Rams. Was it perfect? I'm not suggesting that. Right. But what I'd heard about Adoree Jackson coming off that first game of the season, I thought was an extreme opinions collectively. Mm-hmm. He, like everybody else, he's sort of getting those reps with the starters. You can't replicate getting reps in a game situation. Practice is totally different. But there hasn't been an opportunity where he's put his stamp on that position. So I think because of that, you hear those comments from Fangio, and it leaves the door open for other players to emerge when they get their opportunity.
All right. Zach Baun, Jihad Campbell, both popped up. Both did not participate. Was this a Eagles rest day, but let's put an injury to it, or is there something actually going on with those two players?
Yeah, just based off of 1 day, I don't get the sense that there's any cause for concern. Today's going to be a little bit more revealing. Sure. They're leaving for Tampa tomorrow. But Zach Baun had a pretty hefty brace on his left leg. Jihad Campbell had a sleeve on his right leg, I believe. So, I mean, we'll learn more today. Could have been just a byproduct of, hey, we're going to play this closer to the vest. We're not going to take any chances.
Okay.
Or it could be something more. But I did see Zach Baun in the locker room yesterday. I didn't get a chance to speak to him. Jihad Campbell spoke, which is always a good sign.
Yeah.
So I think right now there should not be any cause for concern, but we're obviously going to learn more today.
When you see a big brace like that, though, that was a big brace.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of those like...
No, that was a pretty large one, pretty sizable.
Yeah. That was just and again, I just love... I love the evolution of Nick Sirianni, and it's something we talked about yesterday. Nick Sirianni behind a microphone, to me, has just become so much better. I mean, he's large and in charge. Like he now, when he says stuff, he means it. He knows how to does it. But the way he's running this team, I think he absolutely seems like he's got everybody just marching in line. They're one unit. They speak in one voice, and it's almost like he's an SEC coach that everybody's
how much is that Jalen too?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. But I would say, John, that this is who Nick Sirianni has always been. Like anybody, like anything, you need reps to get more comfortable doing what you're doing. But he's always been of this mindset and of this belief, and he's now had time to really implement that within the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's sort of a gradual process as to he's now the finished product.
All right, one more on a positive side. Will Shipley, full participant yesterday. Are you expecting to see him back on Sunday? And if so, is he right back in the kick return game? Because we know how horrible it was this past Sunday.
Yeah, so he was trending in a positive direction last week. Obviously, he was ruled out for the Rams game, but I'm of the belief that he's going to go Sunday. That's going to be a welcome addition, especially on kick returns.
Yeah.
But I do have something I want to talk about kick returns, but also as a backup running back. Because if you notice, when Will Shipley wasn't there, they didn't really lean on A.J. Dillon for to kind of shoulder some of the workload from Saquon Barkley. So to me, that really suggests that they weren't overly infatuated maybe with some of the backup options. Tank Bigsby still has not seen an offensive snap this season, but Will Shipley, and I've said this for a number of months now, he adds another dimension to the offense, really natural pass catcher. And I think for some of those kick returns, and not every kicker is going to be able to pull off what Joshua Carty did for the Rams, because it was a knuckleball kick and almost like a changeup, and it has to do with like body positioning, but it was so rare that Braden Mann and Jake Elliott weren't able to replicate that despite being aware of what he was able to do. It's just not many kickers can do that. But having Will Shipley back there, who is very secure with the football, tends to have a really good read and a good feel, I think that should certainly aid in that area.
The Phillies have the curveball machine if they want to borrow it.
Yeah, they do have the curveball machine.
But were they trying to replicate it in practice? Were they trying to replicate? Because some of the comments, I wondered if they had really properly prepared to try to replicate, because it should have been no surprise the way this guy kicks off.
I mean,
it seemed like they were surprised by it.
What were they going to do? Bring Tim Wakefield in there?
No. I understand, but the thing is, does somebody know how to do anything that even replicates it?
No, and that's my point.
I never heard it mentioned last week.
Michael Clay spoke about that, that Jake Elliott and Braden Mann were honing in on what Joshua Carty was able to do, and it was so unlike anything that a kicker can do that they weren't able to replicate that.
Right. One more question on the injuries. I'm going to guess your answer is Nolan Smith, but if I'm wrong, you can tell me who else. Which injury is most impactful for this weekend? Like let's go this Sunday against the Bucs, because let's face it, the Bucs have a billion injuries too. But which injury do you think is most impactful with all the Eagles that they're dealing with right now?
Yeah, Nolan Smith.
Yeah,
and I would also say that sometimes a player's impact isn't always reflected in the box score. So while he may not have the sack total to support what I'm saying, just go back and watch some of the edges that he's setting with violence and his hand usage and how he contributes to those gang tackles, rallying to the football. He's a tone setter in many ways. So that's going to be very difficult to replicate. Now, the Eagles are, I guess, they have enough bodies there, and they have experience in Azeez Ojulari and Obo Okoronkwo, who both players were inactive for the first 3 weeks, but they both played a lot of football in their careers. Sure. So in the interim, the Eagles will get a better idea of how strong that depth actually is.
All right, coming up next, we asked you to start sending them in earlier for Connor's sake. I was doing it for the sake of Connor Thomas.
Appreciate you.
Questions for DeCecco for this upcoming game against the Bucs, overall state of the Eagles questions, you name it. And also, coming up bottom of the hour, Andrew mentioned maybe potentially a drastic move or a move of note for that second cornerback spot. Maybe there's a little smoke already there. We'll get to that at the bottom of the hour. But questions for DeCecco comes your way next. Start sending them in now at 610-632-0975. He'll answer them for you. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
The Fanatic's Andrew DeCecco, the Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McClain, and ESPN's
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucs. How dangerous is this Bucs team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. We've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that
is blasphemy.
Total blasphemy.
All right. Normally at this time, we do today's headlines with Connor Thomas, but instead, because we have our football guy, Andrew DeCecco, in here, we're going to do questions for DeCecco, so hit us up with some football music, please. And because this is in place of today's headlines, it's brought to us by who, Connor?
Our friends over at Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers, visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com.
They're football guys at Lundy Law, so they appreciate this segment.
I sure hope so.
They're fine with today's headlines taking a bit of a back burner to football questions with DeCecco.
Eagles might need an injury lawyer here soon.
Good point. What do we got?
All right, so our first question that we have here for Mr. Football Guy Andrew comes from Steve, and he asks, will the Eagles now blitz more with Nolan Smith on injured reserve?
They've already been blitzing a ton because they haven't been able to get home with traditional pressure. So, yes, I'm expecting that to continue even more so until they're able to get home with regularity.
So, a couple of weeks ago, I wanted them to unleash Jahad Campbell. They did that against the Chiefs. Last week, I wanted them to unleash Sidney Brown. They did it. He missed because that's what he does.
You're tough on Sidney Brown.
You are a little tough on him.
I am. I hate his routes and trying to make tackles. I'm sorry. But my question for you is does Fangio keep on trying to cycle it, or is it, hey, you're my guy, go after him? What do you expect? Like, we remember Jim Johnson was like, all right, B-Dawk off the edge. Like, be ready.
You mean in terms of a safety rotation?
Yeah, or no, just who's going to be the guy that goes after the quarterback maybe at the right time?
I think Makuba can do that. And I think you're going to see as the season starts to wear on, he's going to be someone who they have a lot of confidence in, and he's on the field more often than he's not. Right now there's a little bit more of a rotation, but Makuba has such a wide-ranging skill set that it really lends itself to him being able to thrive in that area.
All right. What's next?
All right, we have a question here. No name on this one, but they ask, what do you expect from Chris Godwin if he plays? Is it fair to feel better about Ringo potentially starting this game knowing Evans could be out and Godwin likely isn't 100%?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Godwin's still a solid football player. He's a savvy veteran. He knows how to find the soft spots in the zone, and he's a crafty route runner. So those are things you have to be taking into account. Is he going to be 100%? Well, I mean, not likely, but anytime he's out there, that's somebody you have to take into account.
So we've talked about this a couple times because they've played 2 teams out of 3 that had the dual threat, right? The Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. Week 1, it was CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. With Evans being out, is Quinyon Mitchell shadowing Emeka Egbuka? Or do you not have that much faith for Kelee Ringo to follow Chris Godwin? What would you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think in that situation, you would want Quinyon Mitchell to shadow Emeka Egbuka because you've seen what he's been able to do over the first 3 weeks. Kelee Ringo, I mean, look, we had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and he's a confident player. It was never wavering, even despite him not getting the starting job. I get the sense that if he does get this opportunity, if it works out in his favor, he may surprise some folks.
All right, so you think Quinyon follows Egbuka, Kelee follows Chris Godwin, potentially?
Yeah, I mean, that's my read on it right now. Obviously, we have a ways to go, but initially, yes.
All right. What's next, Connor?
For football guy Andrew, I'm worrying about the corner position. Is there anyone available to sign or someone you think they would try to acquire via trade with the injured reserve news?
Nobody worth signing right now. You have to remember they also need to learn the defense. And for Jacorian Bennett, he got there in early August, and it took him a little while to get his feet under him. You have to always look at it and say, how soon would that player be able to help? It's a complex system, the match, carry, and deliver that the Eagles implement. As far as trade, I'm not there yet. I don't throw out names. I don't do anything hypothetical or any kind of speculation. You got to let this play out. They have 3 players there who can do it, and you get an assessment over the next month to see if they are the answer at that position.
It's amazing. I wanted them to sign him so bad because of the cornerback challenges. Jair Alexander, back-to-back weeks, a healthy scratch with the Ravens.
Just goes to show you that just because someone's a name brand doesn't always necessarily mean that it's going to be a great fit.
Yeah, not a great fit.
No, apparently not in Baltimore, no. What else we got?
This text just says Quez Watkins with 3 question marks.
Well, look, and I want to say this before I give a little brief synopsis here, but just the fact that we announced that Quez Watkins, that we reported that he had signed, you should see some of the comments and some drastic extreme opinions. He's on the practice squad. He's one of 4 receivers on the practice squad. You have to look at Britton Covey, Terrace Marshall, Javon Baker, and now Quez Watkins. Nick Sirianni has always gushed about Quez Watkins and his ability to kind of get vertical, but he's on the practice squad. There are 3 other players who are probably in front of him, and they worked him out. He was one of 7 players that the Eagles worked out, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks ago now. So leave it to the Eagles to find ways to add different pieces. And when you look at the scout team, you want players who can do different things. Britton Covey's sort of the short area quickness guy, and he can emulate maybe a Chris Godwin, let's say. But then you have someone like Quez Watkins who has speed, and he can replicate someone else and who has that dynamic ability for the opposition. So you have to look at some of the roles that some of these guys could play in
It's
practice.
like when the Giants had Daniel Jones as a scout team safety, because, you never know when there might be a Daniel Jones-like safety.
It's not
preparing for.
It doesn't mean he's being brought in here to play.
Right.
That's the whole point of it.
Right.
And just relax.
You going to spell it?
I think that's great
Going to spell it,
advice.
Aaron Rodgers?
No, that's been done before.
I don't need to do that.
All right, so coming up next, it's interesting that one of the questions was about a cornerback that you could potentially trade for. So with Howie Roseman, I guess it's never too early to start thinking about it, especially when there's maybe a little bit of smoke.
Uh-oh.
I saw a big-name reporter who's on this show often.
Ooh.
Maybe sort of start sprinkling some things out there.
Sprinkling.
I'll tell you what next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, our man Andrew Checo, with us for the remainder of the show today on this Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
8 homers for the Phils. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies clinched a first-round bye last night with a home run party at Citizens Bank Park. They beat the Marlins 11-1, and Jesus Luzardo went 7 innings with 10 strikeouts in his final start of the regular season. He was great. The offense was better. The Phillies hit a franchise record 8 home runs in the game. Alec Bohm, Bryce Stott, and Otto Kemp all left the yard. Kyle Schwarber hit numbers 55 and 56 on the year, and Edmundo Sosa
Down the left field line. Sanoja's going back, and it's gone! 3-home run game. Edmundo Sosa.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. That's the first game back off the injured list for Sosa. A hell of a performance for him. Game 3 with the Marlins is tonight at 6:05 p.m. Walker Buehler on the mound against Jansen Junk. The Eagles, they had a bad day. Bad day of injury news, that is. Nolan Smith, Jacorian Bennett, and Darius Cooper were all placed on injured reserve yesterday. Zach Vaughn, Jahad Campbell, and Adoree Jackson all did not practice. So now we've got some significant injury concerns with the Eagles heading into their matchup with Tampa Bay. Andrew DeCecco stays with the guys for the rest of the show. For the latest on that, this update's brought to you by Delaware County EDSI. Looking for work in Delaware County? PA Career Links Fall Hiring Fest is October 14th at the Springfield YMCA. Hundreds of jobs, direct interviews, hiring on the spot. Don't miss it. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Philadelphia Phillies are National League East champions. Keep it here.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucks. How dangerous is this Bucks team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned today that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. You know, we've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady, I feel like every time he ran the quarterback sneak, he always got the yard or touchdown they needed. And that's what it's like with Jalen Hurts in the form of a tush push. So Jalen Hurts is a little bit more team-oriented in the tush push. Tom's seem to be a little bit more individual. And I would say that the comparisons are a little bit like the plays that they ran on quarterback sneaks. Jalen got a little help from his friends. Tom was a little bit more of a soloist, but they're both winners. They're both champions. They're both producers. They both get the job done. Jalen's done it now once, though. One Super Bowl title, right?
Yes.
One, right? So, again, the more he wins, the more valid those comparisons will become.
Kincade and Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It is 8:25 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. And we're joined by our man, Andrew DeCecco, for the remainder of the show. We just did our questions for DeCecco in the previous segment.
He gets so much done in such a short time.
It really is amazing.
I was complimenting him, Connor. It was very much like I throw bouquets at you.
Oh, it's nice of you.
I mean, he gets so much done in a short time. It's amazing.
Yes,
That's what he's here for, baby.
I try to be efficient.
Damn right, man. And we'll get back to more of our text messages. Just because we did that segment doesn't mean if you have more questions, you can't send them in. We'll get to more. But I'm curious. I wonder what your read on this is, Andrew, because I read an article this morning. We were going to get into this at 7:25, but there was a crazy Phillies article that I wanted to react to, and I'll get your thoughts on it a little bit because I know you're a sportsman. You're not just a football guy. There's an article on ESPN where they interviewed. The writer asked Jeremy Fowler and Dan Graziano a bunch of different topics. And Jeremy Fowler, who we have on pretty frequently on the show. Not weekly like our man Adam Schefter, but frequently throughout maybe once a month we talk to Jeremy.
He hasn't ended up in the New York Post with us.
Correct. One of the topics that they asked, which team most needs to be active in the trade market? So just so you guys know, Graziano has the 49ers because like the 800 injuries that they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. You look at their schedule, still light schedule. They could win that division if they can field a team, right? Like that's a big one. But Fowler went with the Eagles. Now, he said something very specific. Who's the team that they trade with all the time?
New Orleans?
New Orleans, Houston.
Houston.
Yep.
And what's going on with the Houston Texans?
They're losing.
0-3.
It's mayhem.
And the Texans have a pretty good on-paper defense. It's just not necessarily been all that great. Actually, the defense has played well. It's their offensive line can't protect anybody. But Jeremy Fowler would not be surprised if the Eagles made a phone call soon. He says, while Roseman is usually trying to add, Caserio and the 0-3 Texans could be a few losses away from wanting to deal players for picks. And what do the Eagles have an abundance of?
Picks.
He says, I still think the Eagles might not be done at cornerback and could survey the market. So that could be any team, but Houston, that's a little sprinkle. Like, hey, just throwing that out there. What's your read on that situation, Mr. DeCecco?
Usually I don't like to comment on things like that because it just adds fuel to the fire unnecessarily. But, I mean, what I will say is that Howie Roseman has proven over his career, Andrew, that he will leave no stone unturned for the betterment of his football team. So if they're not getting what they're expecting from that position, or if they want to see if they need an upgrade, especially if the pass rush isn't getting home, you need to be able to fortify that area, then certainly that's an area that the Eagles are likely going to explore heading into the trade deadline. But I would also say that there's other positions you could look at as well. The Eagles are light on depth in certain areas. So, I mean, with Howie Roseman, he's always aggressive and he's always looking to improve the roster. I mean, it's as far as anything else, like, I'm not going to speculate.
All right, well, so let me ask you, what's more likely then? All right. The Eagles make a trade again for another corner, like they already did with Jacorian Bennett during the training camp. Obviously, they traded away a tight end that wasn't going to make the team, but they traded away a player for Jacorian Bennett. Or is there a in-house move? which is A, could be Keely Ringo. What if he plays well? B, there's still the potential, even though Vic Fangio loves him at slot, I love him at slot, you love him at slot, there's still the potential of kicking Cooper DeJean out to the outside. Would they be more willing to do that and try that first before making a trade?
Well, they love Cooper, like you said, in that nickel role.
Sure.
And I think to take him from that would be severely depleting the middle of the field. You're leaving yourself vulnerable, and just go back to life without Cooper DeJean when teams were able to really find success in the short to intermediate levels of the field targeting Avonte Maddox. And I don't want to single out Avonte, but, I mean, it was pretty glaring.
Yeah.
I don't know that they would want to explore that because of how critical he is in that role. Now, I'm a big believer of when you have players in-house and you've spent years developing them in some cases, looking at Keely Ringo, he's in his third season. I mean, I think you need to kind of see that development through before you go and look externally to upgrade. So you have to see what they're able to do on the field first before you flip the switch.
When you say flipping the switch, like Mike the switch, is that mean can it be in practice though that you see, or does it have to be acid tested in a game where it can actually cost you, and you see that maybe the faith that you had in a guy or what you want to see in a guy that it cost you?
That's a great question, John. And Vic Fangio mentioned just on Tuesday that there are strides that are tangible in practice. But like if there's certain refinement in terms of technique, or they're seeing things faster, they're making plays on the football, or maybe they're doing there's some subtleties and nuances to what they're doing now that maybe they weren't doing in training camp. Yeah, you can use that to better assess it. Do they likely need a more, a more viable option there at corner? Probably, but again, you have three players, and I'm including Mac McWilliams, the rookie corner, in that.
Right.
Although he's mostly been working at nickel, and that's really been his primary focus. You have some time here to gauge what you have in your personnel even further before you go externally.
Let's say the DeJean thing happens. They kick him to the outside. Would Mac McWilliams be the nickel corner? Or we saw it in camp. You saw it in camp. You're there. We've seen the Makuba slide up into that slot role, and then you have technically three safeties on the field. Would you see that playing out anyway?
Yeah, for the Makuba piece, I just think that they've spent so much time versing him in the safety role. So I don't know that you want to, conflate things by now having him do a double duty and things like that when he's already really starting to settle into that role. As for Mac McWilliams, he's played 3 or 4 snaps this season on special teams. I think in the Chiefs game he was active but didn't play. That's a position that a lot is required of that, and it could severely hinder your defense if that area isn't shored up. So I'm not quite sure that they would go that route just yet. That's not to suggest that later in the season they have a better grasp on what he's able to do and they're able to put him out there. But I think that further underlines how critical Cooper DeJean is to that nickel role, because there's a lot of trust and confidence that he's going to be able to handle his assignments with ease.
Now, you said they have time, and we talked earlier, kind of an interesting conversation about the timing of the guys getting placed on injured reserve. Mm-hmm. Is this kind of as ideal of a time as you could look forward to? There's never an ideal time to lose guys, but getting to the bye, it seems a much easier stretch of the schedule. Does that make sense to you at all?
Like you said, there's never a good time. There's never an ideal time to sustain injuries. But the fact that we're looking at it and it's September 25th, the trade deadline's not till Halloween?
Yeah, around Halloween.
Yeah, you do have time to further assess your personnel, and if you're not quite seeing what you need at a certain stage, that's where you become the aggressor, and that's never been a problem for the Eagles, who know how much talent they have on this team, and if they're a piece or two away, they're certainly going to do everything they can to shore it up.
I looked at it and I was just like, okay, if you could get past this weekend. Look, Tampa's in a worse injury situation than we are this week.
Oh yeah.
And then you come home for Denver, who hasn't been lighting it up offensively. They're very good defensively.
Yes.
But then you get the Giants on a short week, 10 days off for the Vikings, and then you get the Giants again. It sort of does seem to me like an ideal time that if you were going to be down some people, this is it. Because then you come back, Green Bay, Detroit. is what you get after the bye week, and that is a nasty 6 days for anybody.
Yeah, it really is. I would say in terms of edge rushers, the Eagles have some experience there to fill the void in the interim. Corner is a little bit different because they have, that was already a thin position, and we chronicled the training camp battle with Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo, and then later Jacorian Bennett. So that's an area that I think you're going to want to keep an eye on. But edge rusher, I think they're going to be okay. They weren't necessarily getting home with regularity. They were more aggressive and throwing a lot more blitzes than Vic Fangio typically does. So, yeah, I guess if you're going to look at it in terms of it being an ideal time period, I suppose, but there's never really a good time to have injuries pile up like that.
All right, we have a lot of questions for you, but probably the most important one, this is for everybody. I'm looking at our YouTube chat. All right, and sometimes
it's the most important one for Andrew?
Yes. Sometimes they're always responding to what we're saying. Sometimes they're on their own thing. They're talking about, beers that they used to like when they were younger.
Okay.
Oh, see, this is what I love about our YouTube chat is the focus of that group is incredible.
Talk to me. What do you got?
Somebody said they went through a phase of this beer, and I wonder, why is this a look down upon beer? The Rolling Rock.
Rock was great.
That was the first case of beer I ever bought.
No, oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that a beer that's looked down upon?
Because our parents looked down on it. At least for my generation, our parents looked down on it.
Well, it's kind of run of the mill, I guess.
Like people,
there's nothing
Keystone's
flashy.
college, right? Natty's college. But Rolling Rock, somebody hand me a rock, I'll tell.
Yeah, I got no beef with the Rock. Pass me the Rock.
That was one that our parents looked down on, though.
Why?
I don't know. But I'm a different generation.
I know. That's why
and
I'm
our
wondering.
parents did not. They looked at that bad.
You think it's the green bottle? You think it's the color?
It could be.
Heineken, a Peroni, Stella.
Yeah, Peroni's
understand.
But
tremendous.
those are all imports.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you're again, this is an age thing and you probably wouldn't even. Your dad will know this. Our fathers drank stuff called Ortliebs.
Yeah.
And Schlitz.
Schlitz, yeah.
And drank
damn good beer.
Drank stuff that was just terrible. Just terrible. So I don't trust them.
Maybe Rolling Rock was too fancy.
I got to tell you this.
Maybe that's what it was.
Our parents did not like Yingling. And Yingling, for my generation, was like, are you kidding me? Yingling's great. And now Yingling has become a just absolute huge brand.
Yeah.
But for our parents' generation, it wasn't as big. It's now big.
Andy and I are equal opportunity drinkers.
Hell yeah, we are.
It's called free, Connor. We love free.
Coming up next, one of my favorite times of the week. It's where I ask Andrew DeCecco where his eyes will be on Sunday. He'll give us the key matchups to watch between the Eagles and Bucks. Whoever plays, that is. We'll discuss that next as Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm Connor Thomas, and buckle up for this one, folks. We have a heck of a Birds update today because injuries abound for the Philadelphia Eagles, almost out of nowhere. Yesterday, they placed Nolan Smith, Jacorian Bennett, and Darius Cooper all on injured reserve, so those three will miss a significant amount of time. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, and Adoree Jackson all did not participate in practice on the first injury report of the week. So all of a sudden, when you were expecting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be the banged up team in this matchup, the Birds now have some significant injury concerns ahead of their matchup Sunday in Florida. So we'll be watching that very closely, and we'll be watching today's injury report closely for the updates on the guys who were not placed on injured reserve. We're also watching the quality of play on the field, and Jalen Hurts met with media yesterday, and he got a chance to talk a little bit about Todd Bowles and what that defense does that's given the Eagles so much trouble.
Bigger perspective, I think he's got a lot of tools and a lot of things in his system and what he does that is very challenging, and that's what makes them such a great team and a great defense. So.
And we know that the Eagles have had trouble with those Todd Bowles defenses over the years with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback, but we have tools of our own, and Jalen Hurts talked about the changes on Sunday that led to the big win over the Rams.
We put ourselves in a position, and we approached the game in a different way, and, you have games like that, and I think as a unit, we found a way to get it going, and I give a lot of credit to KP in that, being able to adjust and see and get us in the direction that we need to be.
I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade and Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m. The Midday Show, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And now they got a chance to go 4-0, and they're heading to Tampa to take on the Bucks. How dangerous is this Bucs team? And they are pretty beaten up right now.
A word of warning. We'll say they are beat up right now. I don't think they're going to have Mike Evans. And I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs will be back this week, and that'll be big for Tampa. And the offensive line's been decimated with injuries. They lost so much talent up front. But this has been the one place where the Eagles have not played well. Like, if they're going to be booed anywhere, it would be against Tampa. Like, Jalen Hurts is 1-4 versus Todd Bowles. They've dominated everywhere else. I think Tampa, Jalen Hurts is 1-4. Somebody mentioned the other day that 6 of the last 7 the Eagles have lost to Tampa. They lost a playoff game there. I was there a couple of years ago. It's a place that they have not played well.
The Hurts-Brady comparisons are happening, not as the quarterback overall, but the success early on, the leadership, the obsession with winning. You know, we've seen Hurts with Michael Jordan now. What do you make of it, or what is your reaction when you hear Damian Woody, one of your colleagues, saying that he sees some of Brady and Hurts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a little early, but I think you can understand where that's starting to come up in conversations. And we were talking about the tush push on Sunday NFL Countdown this past week, and I never even thought of that, but they're like, that's the play that Tom Brady used to run. Not tush push, but Tom on the quarterback sneak was impossible to stop. Now, why was it that Tom Brady, some big guy who is not as athletically blessed as some other people, why was it that he could never be stopped? Like any other quarterback could go sneak, and they could be stopped. But Tom Brady...
The Fanatic app.
97.5 thefanatic.com.
Any streaming device, and of course the radio.
Now, back to the show.
It is 8:42 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Okay, you're awful.
What?
I'm just saying it. We'll talk about that off the air. You're awful.
You're the one that said something sacrilegious, literally like
no, you're talking about your
commercial
wife.
break ago.
You're saying like you gave something to your wife that you got for free.
You're
that
talking about
count.
Eagle safeties. That's
that
even worse.
Count? Come on now.
Eagle safeties.
All right, let's get to it.
Your matchups that you'll be watching. Andrew DeCecco with us for the remainder of the show, as he does every single Thursday in studio. We love it. And this is one of my favorite times because when I watch a game, I want to know where are Andrew DeCecco's eyes, because then I start paying attention that way too. What do you got this weekend for us? What are you cooking up?
Well, Tampa Bay is banged up along the offensive line. I think this sets up perfectly for the Eagles' defensive line to get home and really cause a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield is not exactly fleet-footed. He can make some things happen outside of structure, but this should be a big Jalen Carter game, a big Moro Ojomo game. I'm also curious to see if the temperatures dictate Vic Fangio going with a little bit more of a rotation at edge rusher and defensive line, because Ty Robinson, for example, was active but didn't play. So
sure.
you're looking at a 4 defensive tackle rotation. Edge rusher, they only went with 4. But this should be a game where they win in the trenches pretty easily. And then I'm looking at A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith versus Zion McCollum, twin brother of Eagles, former Eagles safety Tristan McCollum, and Jamel Dean at corner. McCollum is a nice player. He's done some good things over the past couple of years, but I think you can get Jamel Dean here and there on some deep shots.
Okay, I like that. Now, by the way, you said something that I was going to give like my lock of the week bet.
Well, don't do it till tomorrow.
Well, I might have to take it off. So Baker Mayfield, you said he's not fleet of foot, but he can make things happen.
He can.
I was going to bet his over in rushing yards because he's going to try to be Superman this weekend with everybody out. His over-under for rushing yards is 17.5. He's usually in the 8 to 9 range, and I always love that bet. But 17.5 might be a bit too much.
17.5 is all Baker got?
Yeah, for rushing yards.
I'm saying this as a game where the interior pressure forces him to step up or flee the pocket, and I could see him having to pick up some yards.
I think he will.
I think he may get that in the first half.
All right, then you want to we'll throw that one in tomorrow then.
I think he may get that in the
when we do our
first
same
half,
game parlay. We'll throw that one in there.
I'm going to take it 4 times for my picks.
Baker is so he's so much fun to watch.
I think he's underrated.
So do I.
Yeah.
He's a pest.
And I hate the term underrated because it can carry negative connotations, but he's somebody that should be talked about more because he's tough. He finds ways to elevate the offense, and wouldn't surprise me if he's able to use that supporting cast and make them viable. I don't know. He's a good point man, and I think he's done a nice job there.
He's seen so much because he's been from team to team to team. He obviously carries a certain feeling of disrespect toward him.
And that shows through in his play. He plays the game with a chip on his shoulder, and he's always been somebody that, watching from afar, I always respect.
Yeah,
he's also go on.
He's like a Tyrese Halliburton guy, where it's just like he may not be mentioned in the top tier of like the guys that he's probably his skill level gets underrated, but end of a game, balls in that guy's hand, you're nervous.
I mean, look,
man.
three one-score games for the Buccaneers en route to wins. Most recently against the Jets. Now,
and a guy who supposedly had a bad rep, but he never had a bad rep with teammates.
Right. No, people just didn't like his antics. Again, another word where people will look at that negatively. His antics in college. I loved when he planted the flag. Like, that was freaking awesome.
I'll never forget.
He's a confident guy, man.
I'll never forget his Oklahoma teammates. So when he was at Oklahoma, and he's leading Georgia at halftime of the Rose Bowl game. Mm-hmm. And he's walking off the field at halftime, and he's talking trash and pointing in fingers' faces and pointing to the scoreboard. And the Georgia players, and you could ask some of the Georgia dogs about this. They were like, we're going to effing rip his head off. And he literally motivated the entire team to just crush them. They were like, they literally went in the locker room and were like, this punk, we're going to crush them. And they did. They crushed them in the second half. He was counting his chickens a little early.
Sure.
And a little immaturity.
Back in the day.
He changed it.
Now, one of the moments of the season this year was Baker Mayfield and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson getting face-to-face in Week 2 when the Bucs beat the Texans on Monday night. Andrew, you and I were on the air when the crash out was happening on social media for CJGJ. John was on vacation. You were sitting next to me, and the whole show sheet went out the window. It was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson watch. Your thoughts on him once again being released by a team, once again a free agent?
Yeah, I mean, talented player.
Yeah.
You know the impact that he has, and he can take the football away. He's never been one to shy away from voicing his opinion.
Sure.
He has a big personality. Sometimes that helps, ignite a defense and can be a positive thing for a short period of time. Right? I mean, but I think when you see things like this happen, it further illustrates the culture, the impeccable culture that the Eagles have, that they're able to, like, these things were never, something that came out. You weren't seeing these things happen week 3 or 4 last season with the Eagles. He bought into the culture here, and he's always going to bring a piece of himself everywhere he goes.
Right.
He's always going to be brash and things like that. But I don't think anyone can deny the impact that he had in Philadelphia and the attitude and the tenacity and the energy that he brought to that defense. But the bottom line is they don't need him.
Right.
They don't need him. Drew Makuba is a young player who they drafted in the second round. He's made great strides through the first 3 games. The Eagles are really pleased with his development. Sidney Brown has done some nice things in a complimentary role, and they have Reed Blankenship there. And they just signed Marcus Epps, by the way, to the 53-man roster. So they don't need C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
I was told by somebody I really trust around the Eagles that NFC Championship game night, if you had asked them their opinion on C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and then you asked them their opinion on C.J. Gardner-Johnson parade night.
Sure.
It had completely changed. That it went from a player they really liked, but they knew had issues and everything like that, to being one that they were, okay, we're done. Not doing this anymore. Can't have it anymore.
Yep. All right.
And they moved on.
Coming up next, at what point, if ever, because I know a lot of people don't care about the feelings of athletes, when do you start feeling bad for an athlete that just doesn't realize that it's nearing the end or the fact that we might be there? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles have some injury issues. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles, well, they had a heck of a news day, and not in the good way. They listed Nolan Smith, Ja'Cory Bennett, and Darius Cooper on injured reserve yesterday afternoon. Zach Vaughn, Jahad Campbell, and Adoree Jackson all did not practice. So all of a sudden, the Birds have some heavy injury issues heading into their matchup with Tampa Bay on Sunday, 1 o'clock down in Tampa. We'll keep you updated on what we hear from that, and we'll be watching the injury report closely today when it comes out. The Phillies, well, hopefully you're watching that closely last night. They clinched the first-round bye with an 11-1 win over the Marlins. Jesus Luzardo, a 7-inning, 10-strikeout start in his final start of the regular season. But the home runs were the real story of this game. Phil's hit a franchise record 8 in the game. Bohmstott and Kemp hit 1 apiece. Schwarber hit numbers 55 and 56. And Edmundo Sosa, a 3-homer night.
Pulled down the left field line. Sanoja's going back. It is gone! 3-home run game. Edmundo Sosa.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. It was his first game back off the injured list, too. That man is always ready to play. Game 3 with the Marlins is tonight at 6:05 p.m. Walker Buehler faces Jansen Junk. This update is brought to you by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Eli Manning reminds you there's nothing like football in King's Hawaiian Sliders. King's Hawaiian Sliders make you a winner on game day. Pick them up this weekend at the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Every game day right before the Birds take the field, check out the Birds Insider pregame show, breaking down every game.
I can say the same thing, that Jalen Hurts earned his right to have that moment on the sideline because he's the damn Super Bowl MVP.
Yes.
And he won that Super Bowl. Obviously, the defense was tremendous, but by throwing the football last year. You saw the second half, a totally different Eagles team from the first 2 games, but the same Eagles team from the last 2 games of 2024 when they won the conference championship in the Super Bowl. Quote that, damn it.
I'm still in awe that they found a way to win this football game.
Jordan
it's
Davis
incredible.
got some big paws, man.
Incredible. Listen, it wasn't only Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter getting the blocked field goals. I love it, and great plays by them. But it was also the film study coming in that they knew the launch angle from the kicker. They knew exactly where to line up over that guard, how they were going to get pressure and then immediately get their hands up. It was just, it's incredible. A lot of guys will just mail it in on special teams, just mail it in on a field goal block.
Well, they certainly didn't mail it in. As a matter of fact, I mean, that to me seems like this is one of those plays where Nick has taken very seriously in practice. And look at what happened. 2 blocked field goals? That doesn't happen in this game.
How about this? So our man Tim McManus, who joins the show every Thursday, covers the Eagles for ESPN, he tweeted out, the last time the Eagles blocked 2 field goals in a single game, it was exactly 50 years ago to the day of yesterday's game.
Was it really?
September 21st, 1975 against the New York Giants. 50 years to the day.
Gives a new meaning to that song. It was the 21st night
of September.
I get it. Nobody cares about athletes sometimes because.
What do you mean by that? Like in Vegas, because people are going to hear
paid all the money. Don't care.
Well, do athletes care about you?
I would hope so.
Do you think they do?
Maybe.
I don't think they do.
What, fans? And
do you think athletes are going and going, I care about the fan in Section 121?
Maybe.
Maybe they want to.
Well,
win.
maybe. Well, then maybe a
for
fan. I mean, I don't think people think of it that way.
I just know, talking to people over the years, there's some people that just get over it when it comes to players.
About what? Like, what was the issue?
Well, let me get to it. So, sometimes I feel bad when a player doesn't realize it's done, right? Like I get it. A lot of guys want to finish out their contracts because they're getting paid handsomely. Like it was depressing to me watching Miguel Cabrera at the end of his career hitting a ground ball and like not even.
You mean steal money?
Sure,
he stole money. Yeah,
sure. He was also like the leader of the clubhouse and everything like that. But anyways, that's not what I'm getting to. Russell Wilson spoke yesterday to the media, and he dropped the "I'm not done yet." And I just wonder, like, is that the competitive spirit of the person? Because look, they're in the he's a professional football. He could be a Hall of Famer one day, right? Like what he's accomplished in his career. He's a Super Bowl winner.
He could be,
but it's been Denver was a mess. Last year was a mess with Pittsburgh, and you're already getting benched. And it's like, I'm not done yet. And I just wonder, like, what is this? What are you not realizing? And there's speculation that he could try to be traded to help a team.
Who's trading for him?
I don't know.
That's what I understand.
That's why I asked the question.
I mean, he hasn't been overly effective in 3 years, if we're being honest. I mean, he did throw for 450 yards just 2 weeks ago.
He did.
So this isn't a case of, I don't know, I'm throwing out a name from yesteryear, Jeff Blake or something when he joined the Eagles as the third-string quarterback in 2004. I mean, in spot duty, he could be effective. But as a starter, those days, by all accounts,
but that's
are
all
long
he
gone.
wants to do. He's not, I'm a backup and I'm gonna be a good teammate. Like, he wants to be a starter. And, like, I get it. Potential Hall of Famer. Like, imagine if Rodgers was like, yeah, I'll be a backup. Like, no, he's never going to want to be a backup. He'll try to be a starting quarterback till the time he's 50. But, like, at what point do you just go, yo, dude? Like, is there somebody close to him that says, come on, man, it's done?
I saw it on NFL Live, and I saw some of the comments, and I said to myself, he's the exact guy that I wouldn't have wanted to be a Giant if I'm the Giants organization, because he's obviously there for himself.
Sure.
He's not there to be the young leader. He's not there to be he's there for himself. Everything yesterday was about Russell Wilson not being done. Russell Wilson it was all about Russell. And to me,
that's not his fault. That's the narrative that is now being talked about. You don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. He could be helping Jackson Dart. He could be doing all of those things. What's the topic now is about Russell, but that he's not saying, hey, make it about me. Talk about me. I think to think that is a little short-sighted. You can't really control the narrative that's out there.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if he understood the role of coming there. To me, I don't know if he understood the role of what he was doing there. He wasn't being brought there to bring the Giants to a playoff berth. He wasn't being brought there.
But he may think
that he's a bridge quarterback.
He's a bridge, but yesterday did not sound anything like a bridge.
Yeah, but the bridge collapsed three weeks into the season. I don't think he was expecting that, even if the rest of the NFL
2 out of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Week 2 was spectacular. But
Cowboys doesn't count.
it's odd to me because I'm not a professional athlete. You know what I mean? So I don't know when does that click? I'm done.
Bro, it's near impossible because you think about the greatest player you've ever played with, and then you multiply it by 10, and then you multiply it by another 10, and that's still current Russell Wilson.
But
that good at something, it's tough. When you're not good to cut it as an NFL starter, you're still awesome at quarterback. It's really hard to mentally get through that, I think, of I can't do this.
I mean, let's not act like there aren't teams that he could start for. I mean, he could start for the Saints. So by definition, I mean, he has every right to say, I'm not done. And who is really anybody to say that he is done?
Right, he'll know it, but I just wonder when does he know it?
Now I'll say he's done, but I'm just a guy. I don't know.
Did you see what Kurt Warner, and we had a chance to sit down with Kurt at the Super Bowl. It was great. Kurt Warner was being asked about Russell Wilson stepping down. And he talked about it yesterday, and he says, I know what my man Fitzmagic is talking about. He goes, in 2004 with the Giants, we were a playoff team after 9 games. And he said, and they moved away to give the job to Eli Manning, and they were 5-4 to give the job to Eli Manning. And he said, it sucked for me, but I knew going into the job that season wasn't about me. It was about the future of the organization, and I'd have to say it worked out pretty well for the G-men.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks need to know the job on the way in. And to me, I think that Russell Wilson isn't acting like he understood the assignment.
I mean,
Kurt Warner was like, it sucked for him. We were 5-4. We were in the playoff. We were in a playoff position. But he goes, I understood the position going in. It sucked for me, but I understood what the job was.
I mean, I'm going to give Russell Wilson the benefit of the doubt. You don't draft a quarterback as high as the Giants did and expect, I'm going to be the starter the rest of the way. They're going to eventually give way. This is how it works. This is what happens. So, I mean, I think there's a narrative out there that maybe he didn't know what the role was that he was walking into. I don't buy that.
Like a Dable thing. Maybe Dable maybe misrepresented it a little bit, or
no. But you were kind of illustrating it or depicting it as that he went into a place and didn't know his role. He was under an assumption that it was going to be something more than it was, and I don't know that that's the case. You look at where they drafted Jackson Dart, and you know that it's sooner than later he's going to be plugged in there to be the starter.
Right. All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities.
Time now for the Kincade Salciunas.
Is the plan, but I'm just trying to do the theatrics here. We had a day of highs for the Phillies. A day of highs for the Phillies and a day of injury lows for the Eagles. A crazy day yesterday in Philadelphia as we continue to get you ready for Eagles-Bucks this Sunday, as we continue to count down the final days of the 2025 regular season for the Philadelphia Phillies before they begin Red October, which will be on the bye week, and we will see who they face.
How about that?
Come round 2 in the divisional round of the playoffs.
How about this one, folks? And I can verify for you that Saturday, October the 4th, it'll be either early evening or a little later in the evening. If it is the Dodgers, it's going to be, we could be talking like a 6:08 start, or we could be talking like a 8:08 start.
Sure.
So it looks like that'll be, can you imagine the tailgating for game 1 of the NLDS?
Oh, bring it. Let's go.
That sounds like a great day, everybody.
Sounds like a freaking awesome day.
That sounds awesome. We're looking forward to it.
So let's go with the highs first, because we always like to start
Yeah,
positive.
let's start that.
And the highs are your Philadelphia Phillies and their 11-1 bludgeoning of the Marlins. They caught that fish, they brought it on board, and they beat the crap out of it.
That's an interesting way to depict it.
Well,
is that what you do to a fish? I'm not a big fisherman.
When you hit 8 home runs, setting a franchise record, you do whatever the hell you want to that fish. My God, crazy day yesterday.
That was wild.
Kyle Schwarber hits 2 home runs in a 4-for-5 day, both solo shots. Alec Bohm, believe it or not, extended the arms enough and lifted the ball in the air for a home run. He went 2 for 4 with a home run. Otto Kemp goes yard yesterday. He goes 1 for 3, was walked 1 time, hits a home run. I'm going to skip the next one and then go to Bryson Stott, who hit a home run yesterday. Now, by my count, that's 5. That is 5 home runs. So
I'd say that's really good.
How do they get to 8? Well, not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs from the man that returned from the injured list yesterday, Edmundo, the you-know-what, Love Sosa.
He did not.
3 home runs yesterday, 5 RBI, a 3-for-4 day with 3 home runs. Welcome back, Edmundo Sosa. And welcome back the power surge of the Philadelphia Phillies lineup, Johnny.
That was a incredible night. And that was the kind of thing where you just say to yourself, and it was weird because on my timeline I was seeing a lot of Phils fans that were saying, could we just get a little bit of breathing room when we're getting this great starting pitching?
Sure.
And could we get these guys where they get a little bit of breathing room? And it was nice to see another outing from a starting pitcher that makes you go, okay.
That should not be lost. Good job, Johnny.
Not be lost, but the offense, though, it makes everybody just exhale.
Yeah.
And seeing that offense do that, and there were a lot of guys hitting last night that game 1 of the NLDS probably aren't in the lineup.
Dude, again, we're going to have a very interesting conversation next week when we are predicting and then reacting.
I think it's going to be debate.
The NLDS roster. It might be debate.
I think all week long, and I think our listeners, our YouTube audience, our Twitter followers, I think there's going to be heated debate next week trying to figure out this roster because there's going to be decisions that are made, and there are going to be some hard decisions.
Yeah, like big-name players like Aaron Nola, because there might not be a reason. Well, there is no reason for him to be on the NLDS roster the way that the schedule works out, where he would not have to pitch because he is not one of your top 3 starters. But you mentioned Luzardo yesterday, 7 shutout innings, just 3 hits allowed, 10 strikeouts. He's put together a stretch of outings right now where he had to fix a stretch of outings that he had where it was down 4 runs against the Mets, 4 runs against the Dodgers, but it wasn't as bad as it sounds, right? 8 innings against the Mets, 7 innings against the Dodgers. He pitched deep into those ball games.
That 8-inning one was amazing.
Yeah, it was, despite the 4 runs. And that
was great.
Was it early? First inning?
4 innings. It was 4-0.
Yeah, it was 4-0.
It was 4-0 with 1 out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he threw a no-hitter like the rest of the way, right?
It was unbelievable.
So Luzardo, great outing yesterday, and then you get the 2 shutout innings from the bullpen. I know that they will have the week off because of the bye, but it is still good for arms to get extra time off. When you win 11-1 like you did yesterday, it allows Tim Meza to pitch. It allows Max Lazar to pitch, which means Strom, Kerkering, Duran, the guys that you're truly going to rely on in the playoffs that seem to have been leaking oil recently. It's good to have given those guys another night off, even though they probably wouldn't have pitched today anyway in back-to-back days or yesterday in back-to-back days. It's still good to be like, hey, you guys can sit today.
I love it.
Don't worry about it.
This is awesome. I mean, it really is. And to me, I just look at it as, and I've got something in for more for tomorrow in the show, but this is 22, 23, 24. This does feel different. This September feels different.
Yeah, like you said, it's not.
It feels different.
It's not the slog into the playoffs.
No, it just this team has a bit of a different feel to me than the last few years. And that makes me smile.
Sure. All right, so that's the highs. Go Phillies. Hell of a win. That's great.
Can we skip the lows?
No, we're going to get to the lows. It's still Go Birds.
No, it's Go Birds.
It's Go Birds.
But it's Go Birds to the nurse's office?
Yeah, it's unbelievable day yesterday with the injury report that popped out. First and foremost, the biggest story is Nolan Smith heading to the IR. Remember, he had the injury that he sustained during the playoffs last year where he needed to get surgery. He tweaked it again, apparently, last week against the Los Angeles Rams.
I've never heard, by the way, the term tweaking of the injury that he has.
Sure.
have I heard the term tweak with it. That's a really interesting way to look at it. It gives me great concern.
Yeah, and not expected to require surgery, thanks to Adam Schefter putting that out there, but he's expected to be out through the bye week, which is week 9.
And remember,
that's a long time from now.
Remember last year, Brandon Graham got injured, got the surgery, came back in the Super Bowl, tore it again.
Right, exactly.
And then Nolan Smith gets the injury, gets the surgery, comes back. Now he's out again.
Yep.
Not expected to need surgery, though.
2 more players going on injured reserve yesterday. Darius Cooper, obviously the camp darling who made it as the 5th wide receiver on the team. We really have not heard his name much mentioned through the first 3 weeks of the season. But then Jacorian Bennett pops up, and I'm reading the article from NBC Sports Philadelphia by Ruben Frank. It still says unknown injury. Like, we don't know why both of those players are on IR. I'm sure that'll come out at some point this week. But the reason why I bring up Jacorian Bennett, Adoree Jackson is still listed as questionable for this Sunday's game, and it looked like Jacorian Bennett would have been the guy that would have started. He's now on IR. And so there is a legitimate chance that the guy that lost the cornerback 2 battle, and it was so bad that they had to make the trade for Jacorian Bennett, Keely Ringo might be your starting corner on the opposite side of Quinyon Mitchell this Sunday against the Bucs. Now, again, it's not the same Bucs team. It's not the same.
Well, they're missing 3 of their top 4 receivers.
Right.
So it's not the same. But, as you point out, look, we can't. Earlier this week, we were saying, we got a wounded dog, and we're going into Tampa. And I always say to people, don't celebrate injuries. Don't be excited about injuries. And I saw a lot of people just really be like, boy, those Bucs are injured. Because, boy, the Eagles are closed-lipped.
Yeah, they really are. And then, so those are the guys heading to IR. Zach Bond did not participate in practice yesterday with a knee injury. Jahad Campbell did not participate in practice yesterday with a triceps injury. Lane Johnson, limited participant with the stinger that he sustained this past Sunday. And, of course, it happened on one of the tush-push plays, so you know what that's going to lead to. Will Shipley, though, good news, full participant after last week's kick return debacle. We know that he's a guy with return ability, so maybe we see Will Shipley back on the field, and then he would obviously be in the return. I can say the same thing, that Jalen Hurts earned his right to have that moment on the sideline because he's the damn Super Bowl MVP.
Yes.
And he won that Super Bowl. Obviously, the defense was tremendous, but by throwing the football last year. You saw the second half, a totally different Eagles team from the first 2 games, but the same Eagles team from the last 2 games of 2024 when they won the conference championship in the Super Bowl. Quote that, damn it.
I'm still in awe that they found a way to win this football game.
Jordan
It's
Davis
incredible.
got some big paws, man.
Incredible. Listen, it wasn't only Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter getting the blocked field goals. I love it, and great plays by them. But it was also the film study coming in that they knew the launch angle from the kicker. They knew exactly where to line up over that guard, how they were going to get pressure and then immediately get their hands up. It was just, it's incredible. A lot of guys will just mail it in on special teams, just mail it in on a field goal block.
Well, they certainly didn't mail it in. As a matter of fact, I mean, that to me seems like this is one of those plays where Nick has taken very seriously in practice. And look at what happened. 2 blocked field goals? That doesn't happen in this game.
How about this? So our man Tim McManus, who joins the show every Thursday, covers the Eagles for ESPN, he tweeted out, the last time the Eagles blocked 2 field goals in a single game, it was exactly 50 years ago to the day.
Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
See, I'm sorry.
That's a false start. That's a false start on you.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Forgive me. We were having a fun conversation during the break that you missed, Connor. We were talking about like 04, 05 Sixers rosters. And then we started talking about Sports Illustrated for kids.
Oh, that was best.
Dude, it was great. And we were talking about, like, that's how I learned about players when I was 8 years old.
It's still your reading level. It's perfect.
Oh, I used to study depth charts and all that.
Yeah, because they did it. Like, it was so cool. Like, every year I was telling John and Andrew, not you, I mean, you read it. They would put the projected starting 9 for baseball and the 5-man rotation, and they would do the same thing for hockey and basketball and football. And, like, that's how I learned about players. Like, Peerless Price, like, for football. Like,
Number 81 for the Falcons and Bills.
Wait a minute, what'd you read about Pierce Price?
It was just, he was one of the first names I could remember from the Sports Illustrated for Kids magazine. Like,
do you remember he was like a big, quote-unquote Eagles, free agent target that everyone wanted them to sign?
How lucky was it we didn't get him?
Probably learned that in the magazine.
Dude, I'm the same guy that at like 11 years old, I was reading the Eagles media guide and learning as much information. I was always someone who tried to, absorb as much information as possible.
DeCecco
This has just been a natural progression.
Like you in 5th grade saying, like reading a trade proposal in SI for kids and going, I don't really do that hypothetical stuff.
Yeah, I don't buy this
the analysis
stuff.
of this player, like I would die to see that.
I was always trying to elevate the conversation at the lunch table.
All right, hold on. All right, I want to ask. I'm curious. What was Andrew DeCecco youth like when it comes to sports? Because like you're very
and was it a youth?
Yeah,
or were you always like 40?
You're very professional with this job, and I love it. Like that's why we love having you on because John and I we've complimented you during the breaks a couple times today. You just get right to the point. That's awesome because there's a lot of filibustering that happens in this industry. But like, what were you like as a kid?
I was kind of always just like this. I mean, this has been a natural progression. Like, for example, back in 2003, I was fixating on the Eagles preseason, and I was looking at it and saying, Rod Hood's going to make the team. Reno Mahe's going to make the team. Greg Lewis is going to make the team. Quentin Michael's going to make the team. All as undrafted free agents. And it happened.
Yeah.
But I was, already, evaluating and assessing back at an early age. So it was something that I always, I guess, if you want to say it, had a knack for. And I fixated on it, and I tried to refine and over the years, and it's just like I said, it's just been a natural progression.
Who you are? You're the Jalen Hurts of covering the NFL.
That sounds like a DNA thing.
He really is like is a guy really that you have some common DNA with, and that's Mel Kiper. Very similar to Mel, who created his own brand out of nothing.
You're just going Todd.
That is it.
That's just not what you do.
But it created his own brand out of nothing, and made himself a multi-millionaire by doing it. Hopefully, the same thing happens to you.
There? Are you almost a multi-millionaire?
Hopefully, the same thing happens to you.
I'm $100 shy. I'm close.
That's good. All right. So during the re-rack there, John had a little bit of a. Whether it's Negadelphian, you had somebody text you saying that's not Negadelphian.
Yeah, he didn't think it was because I do not have the Negadelphian gene, but somehow it passed to my daughter. It skipped a generation, right from my father's generation to my daughter.
But yesterday during our post-show headlines, which you've been a part of before, we do it every day after the show, John started talking about like the wounded dog theory a little bit with the Bucs. Now, this is before all the Eagles injuries came out.
Okay.
So it was literally like the Bucs are half the team's out. Let's go to Tampa. And John was kind of worried about that. Do you buy into that stuff at all? Like back up against the wall, even though I point out that they were the wounded dog last week too, and they barely beat the Jets. I can't see them beating the Eagles. But what do you make of that kind of stuff?
I personally, I don't. I look at every game as its own entity, and when the ball's kicked off, none of that matters. You're going out there and you're playing your game. I don't view it as one team's going in with a chip on their shoulder, they're trying to prove something, whatever the case is. You go in there, and more often than not, it's good versus good. It comes down to strategy. It comes down to health, and that's really the way that I always view it.
Okay.
I don't think there's any extra motivation that anyone needs going into any game.
Got some news out of Tampa.
What do we got?
Okay, this is from J. Jonah Jameson. Will join us tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm doing his show this morning. Here's some updated numbers. Looks like Godwin will be playing.
Okay.
And the odds of Wirfs playing is probably around 80%.
Okay.
He's a good football player.
He is.
So those are
Both
the
of them.
updated
Both
numbers.
players.
Now, first game back in a while. What do you like? What are your legitimate expectations for? Because they are great players, both of them. Like, what are your legitimate expectations? They're stepping back on the field for the first time, and Wirfs had a bad injury. I mean, he was walking around with a cane for a while.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with heat that I guess the real field temperature could be over 100. Is likely going to be over 100. I don't know that it matters if you practice in it or not. When it's hot like that and you're working through, you're working your way back, especially for Wirfs. We don't know what his conditioning is. Those are things to keep an eye on because I do believe that you could see the impact.
Okay, fair enough. All right, coming up next, Tom Brady is once again going to be on the call this Sunday. He addressed the concerns that people have of him because that's been a big talking point recently. We'll tell you what he said next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A homer party at the bank. I'm Connor Thomas, and that's what the Phillies held last night as they clinched a first-round bye with an 11-1 win over the Marlins. Jesus Luzardo, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts in his last start of the regular season. But like I said, those home runs were the story. The Phils hit a franchise record 8 in last night's game. Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and Otto Kemp all went yard. Schwarber hit 2. Numbers 55 and 56 on the year if you're keeping track, and we all are. And Edmundo Sosa did this.
Pulled down the left field line. Sanoja's going back. It is gone! 3-home run game. Edmundo Sosa.
That audio courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. That was his first game back off the injured list. It's good to have Sosa back. And Game 3 of the Marlins is tonight at 6:05. Walker Buehler faces Jansen Junk. Eagles had a crazy day of injury news yesterday. Nolan Smith, Jacorian Bennett, Darius Cooper all placed on injured reserve. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, and Adoree Jackson all did not practice. So all of a sudden the Birds have some significant injury concerns heading into their matchup with Tampa Bay. We'll keep an eye on that today as we get our second injury report of the week. This update is brought to you by ExpressPros.com. Getting a new job can be easier with Express Employment Professionals. With Express, you'll have a local connection to the job market. Get started at ExpressPros.com to find a location near you. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Philadelphia 76ers. Will this be the season they stay healthy and make a push toward the top of the Eastern Conference?
I can say the same thing that Jalen Hurts earned his right to have that moment on the sideline because he's the damn Super Bowl MVP.
Yes.
And he won that Super Bowl. Obviously, the defense was tremendous, but by throwing the football last year. You saw the second half, a totally different Eagles team from the first 2 games, but the same Eagles team from the last 2 games of 2024 when they won the conference championship in the Super Bowl. Quote that, damn it.
I'm still in awe that they found a way to win this football game.
Jordan
It's
Davis
incredible.
got some big paws, man.
Incredible. Listen, it wasn't only Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter getting the blocked field goals. I love it, and great plays by them. But it was also the film study coming in that they knew the launch angle from the kicker. They knew exactly where to line up over that guard, how they were going to get pressure and then immediately get their hands up. It was just, it's incredible. A lot of guys will just mail it in on special teams, just mail it in on a field goal block.
Well, they certainly didn't mail it in. As a matter of fact, I mean, that to me seems like this is one of those plays where Nick has taken very seriously in practice. And look at what happened. 2 blocked field goals? That doesn't happen in this game.
How about this? So our man Tim McManus, who joins the show every Thursday, covers the Eagles for ESPN, he tweeted out, the last time the Eagles blocked 2 field goals in a single game, it was exactly 50 years ago to the day of yesterday's game.
Was it really?
September 21st, 1975 against the New York Giants. 50 years to the day.
Gives a new meaning to that song. It was the 21st night
of September.
TheFanatic.com.
All right, it's 9:26 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Curious, Andrew, what's your opinion? We've talked about it, that we don't hate it. It's just, it's weird. What's your thoughts on the whole Brady color analyst, but also member of the Raiders sitting in the coaching, in the coach's booth during a game? What do you make of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's clearly a conflict of interest. I'm shocked that it's gone on this long, to be honest with you. But I also wonder if during production meetings, you start to get some coaches that are a little cagey in what they're giving him and how they're setting things up, because knowing that he is a little chummy and he's around a lot, you have to wonder about the exchanging of information.
Right. So he was he spoke about it on his podcast. He does the Do Your Job podcast. Quote, I love football. At its core, it's a game of principles, and with all the success it has given me, I feel I have a moral and ethical duty to the sport.
Moral and ethical.
Now,
I love it. I love it. That's okay. Can I just insert the laugh track?
My man. my man cheated a couple times in the sport.
Moral and ethical, please.
He says, which is why the point where my roles intersect is not actually a point of conflict, despite what the paranoid and distrustful might believe.
Oh, yes.
Rather, it's the place from which my ethical duty emerges to grow, evolve, and improve the game that has given me everything.
Oh, he's always the. This is like what Florio pulled with me yesterday. I don't know if you saw Mike pulling the. John, I can't believe you're calling me out on this.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he saw it.
Called me out on it, and I'm like, hey, Mike. And by the way, then I got text. If you want to have a forum on this, here's the phone number. You're more than welcome. Tom Brady, moral and ethical obligation. Give me a freaking break, Tom. Come on.
So there's one more quote from him. If I can bring my knowledge and experience to bear inside the Raiders organization to ensure there's one more team that does things the right way, and then I can apply it in the booth so millions of people know and enjoy what the right way looks like, then I will have lived up to the expectations I have for myself, and I will have done so in service of a much greater duty.
Oh, jeez.
What a wordsmith.
One that I believe every person involved with pro football shares, whether they know it or not.
He does. I will say this, though. He is much better at the job than I thought he would be.
Sure.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I thought he got paid because he's Tom Brady. He's doing a good job.
He's done a much better
He has
job.
done a nice job.
And so and it's clear that Tom Brady is not doing the fly-in, half-assed. Like there's research.
Yes.
There's insight.
I still remember he's a prime example against that theory. Jonathan Vilma.
Oh, boy.
I remember.
Oh, my gosh.
Jonathan Vilma was doing a game for the Eagles. I forget what year it was, but Doug Peterson was the head coach.
Oh, boy.
And he said after the first 3 plays of the game, the Eagles ran the ball 3 straight times to start the game. And he said, look, if you know the Philadelphia Eagles, they're a run-first team. And I'm like,
what?
Wait, you're talking about the Doug Peterson-led Eagles where Carson was throwing the ball like 45 times?
And you can't do that because you're a fly-in analyst. The one thing you can't do is your audience is the diehards.
Right.
So you got to make sure you know everything that the diehards know. Like it's like, is Jeff Francoeur coming in for the NLDS?
Sure.
He already knows he's going to be working the NLDS. He already knows now the Phillies are going to be in it. Jeff and I have already been talking about the Phillies for 2 days now. He'll join us next Thursday, by the way, to start previewing it.
Looking forward.
We've already been talking Philly stuff. He will literally say to me, so what's been the vibe on this?
Right.
What's been your show? What have you guys been talking about on your show? He loves to find out about that stuff because he likes to know what are the fans saying.
Well, that's exactly how it should be, in my opinion.
You're doing work.
I take preparation to, an extreme measure.
You do.
I always want to make sure that you're delivering the information and trying to, help the audience, learn about their team. I mean, you always have to be prepared, and I think to not do that is doing your audience a disservice, in my opinion.
I told you the other day, there's a certain member of the Eagles locker room who sent me a text to ease up on Kevin Patullo that I wasn't wrong, but that I was just to ease up because I was a little heavy-handed in my analysis.
I told you that too.
And you did. You said that there's that don't be too heavy-handed in Kevin Patullo.
Yeah, initially you were a little strong.
A little strong
in your criticism.
And you need to realize that is when people give you those insights, you need to go, okay, they're there. But you only get them by doing the work and creating a relationship and then saying, oh, so somebody with more information is telling me something. Learn from it. And
well, how about
Tom Brady? Tom Brady's putting the work in.
He's absolutely putting the work in. I actually enjoy listening to him whenever I can.
How about somebody with more information on tonight's game?
Uh-oh.
It's Thursday night football.
Michael Westwood.
So joining us now on the Comcast
He
Business
won money
Hotline.
for our listeners
Every
last
day in business is a
Thursday.
big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. All right, the phone number. You should know it at this point. 1-800-885-2525. That's 1-800-885-2525. This man has been in the sports handicapping business for 42 years. I haven't even been alive that long. 42 years. And the reason why you're in the business that long is because you keep on winning. And as you mentioned, John, he gave a winner last week. Everybody in the world was on the Bills to cover. He said, not so fast. Dolphins, they covered, plus the added bonus. He gave the total hit as well. They were 8-1 last weekend, and it's going to continue this weekend. Tonight, we have the Seahawks, we have the Cardinals. Let's talk to our man, Michael Westwood from GBIWins.com. Michael, good morning.
What's happening? Good morning. You kind of ousted me with my my age. You said that you weren't even born in 42 years that I've been in this business, but that's okay. What's happening? Good morning, guys. You could tell I'm a little bit upset. Once again, I'm going to bring it up because let's get the elephant out of the room with the New York Mets. Guys, what's happening? I know you hate
Look, you're
the
one
team,
game
but help
up
me
on the
out here.
final wild card. And
Yeah,
look,
you're currently a playoff
Look,
team.
if you win one more game, you're going to have a winning season. That's really exciting.
You guys are rooting so hard against me. It's unbelievable.
We are,
It's
except for
phony.
football picks.
Yeah, no, we root against the Mets. We don't root against you and your picks.
Yes, you see, yeah.
Come on. You got some pitching that we can borrow. I mean, they pitched a kid last night. This kid, Tong, I like what he's all about. He's going to be great. But the bottom line is, I mean, this kid he's little league material. I mean, you can't put him up against the big guns right now, and that's what they did in a primetime game. So hopefully they get another winner and whatever it is. But let's talk about some football. Let's talk about last week. Yes, we were 8-1. Yes, we won that Dolphin game. Yes, But I'm so happy that approximately 270 people signed up with my firm after the 8-1 weekend. Guys, tonight is incredible. It's going out as an NFC West game of the month. Arizona playing this evening, Seattle. It's free. As always, the first game is on me. All you have to do now is dial 1-800-885-2525. That's 1-800-885-2525. You'll be connected to my free recorded hotline. There's no sales pitches. There's no hype. You're going to get my game absolutely free. Seattle, Arizona. I've got tremendous information on this game. And you know what? We're going to win again.
And here's the deal. I believe you're also going to get a little added bonus. Birds, Bucks. John and I will actually be in Tampa for the game. So I wouldn't mind knowing what I might be leaning toward on Sunday by calling 1-800-885-2525.
Listen, winning is a way of life. I've been doing this, like you said, for 42 years. I do this because I love this. I love beating books. And the bottom line is, for the people who don't know who I am, I've been in this business for so long. I beat bookmakers on a consistent basis against the point spread, and tonight is going to be an example. All you have to do right now is dial 1-800-885-2525. Again, 885-2525. You'll be connected to the free recorded comp line. No sales pitches, no hype, just winners.
Okay, 4 weeks in. What is that? 4 weeks into the season. Is this the time where you're starting to see patterns where you can actually start to see some tangible information? Because the first month can be a bit dicey for you guys.
You know what? The first 3 weeks, a great point, have been absolutely horrible. I mean, to me, you know, the teams that are supposed to lose are winning, and the teams that are supposed to win are losing. So, yes, to answer your question, Week 4 is tremendous. I mean, this is a great, great weekend for football. If you look at some of these matchups in the college and the NFL, it's almost like Week 12 right now. It's incredible. So what I want to do is I want to show you winners on a consistent basis. I want to show your listeners and my listeners now how to make money at this crazy game called sports wagering. So once again, tonight's free. It's on me. Dial the phone, 1-800-885-2525.
Listen to those phones.
Free recorded message.
Yeah, I hear it already. I hear the number ringing now. 1-800-885-2525. Michael, thanks as always for the time, man, and we'll talk to you next week.
You got it, guys. Let's win.
Thank you, buddy. Michael Westwood
Except
from
for the Mets.
GBIwins.com.
Yeah, we don't want the Mets to win.
Mets.
But he's going to enjoy. We're going to enjoy a nice steak dinner on him, though.
Yes, he called me last week saying, hey.
To Paul's table, baby.
Pick the time.
On him.
All right, coming up next, we have the Checkadamus. How does the game play out? What are the key moments in the game? Also, I want to revisit a topic we had on Tuesday. Is the second half offense now the standard moving forward? We'll get Andrew's answer on that next. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Unfiltered with Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Real sports talk you can trust.
No rage bait, no fluff, just honest and objective conversation for the greatest sports city in the world. Tune in every weekday from 2 to 6 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1238 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1238. That's 800-549-1238. What do you have to lose? Call 800-549-1238. Again, 800-549-1238.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
When it comes to your home's electrical needs, don't fumble. Make the winning play with TriPoint Electric. Like the Birds on game day, TriPoint brings certified, insured, top-rated service straight to your home or business. From generators to EV charging stations, knob and tube repairs to lighting that shines brighter than a link on Sunday night, TriPoint treats your property like it's part of the starting lineup. Call 215-817-5030 or visit TriPointElectric.com. TriPoint Electric, the power play for safe, reliable service. Go Birds!
Time is running out on Benari Jewelers' most incredible offer ever. You have until September 30th to get that magnificent piece of jewelry and enjoy zero interest financing for 5 years. People are driving hours to do this. Just take that amazing Benari price, divide by 60, and that's your payment. It's the smartest way to buy. Keep your money in your pocket and still get that amazing ring or band or bracelet or pendant, even that bigger diamond. But this first time ever offer ends September 30th and will not be extended. Benari Jewelers, Exton and Newtown Square. On approved credit, some exclusions apply.
You ever walk out of the bedroom and feel like you just hit the game-winning shot? That's what Blue Chew's chewable tablets do. They don't just help, they upgrade you, like they've done for me. It's Big Mike the Boner here. Blue Chew is the original brand bringing chewables to the bedroom. It's like someone whispered, "Hey, champ, it's your time." Be ready when she is. Get your first month free with promo code Big Mike. All one word at BlueChew.com. Just cover $5 shipping. Make her group chat legendary. Chew it and do it.
This is Philadelphia's station for breaking sports news. Powered by Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com.
That's LundyLaw.com.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
There are no excuses.
Kincade and Salciunas is live right now on YouTube.
The Fanatic app.
97.5thefanatic.com.
Any streaming device, and of course the radio.
Now, back to the show.
It is 9:40 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Real quick, before we get to this topic that we had on Tuesday, I want to get Andrew's thoughts on it, and then we'll get to Chekadamas. The Cleveland Guardians gave an update on David Fry. Remember, we talked about it yesterday. He was the guy that Skubal hit right in the face.
Did you see the slow-mo?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Horrifying.
It's horrible. Imaging and clinical examination have confirmed that David Fry sustained multiple minimally displaced left-sided facial and nasal fractures. While the injury will require close monitoring, including serial assessments, David is expected to fully recover over the next 6 to 8 weeks without the need for surgery. It's amazing, man. He was discharged from the hospital yesterday, thank God, right? But that shot that he took to the face.
His face looked like silly putty.
It was,
That was Roy.
I said, I sent it to Connor. Connor responded immediately. I'm like, that to me is nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Because I just, I don't know how much, you guys have done, Connor's, at least playing D3.
Yeah, I've seen that in person. It's not fun.
John Smoltz did that to us at spring training one time of getting into, hey, you guys, do you ever want to stand in the box and know what it feels like to have somebody throw and just stand in the box? And I swear to you, Depends Undergarments could have gotten an endorsement, like of just feeling somebody, I'm never going to throw hard, I'm never going to throw, and then the major league pitcher just with you standing there. And I wanted to pee. Like that bad.
Yeah.
It's that scary.
Dude, those pitches coming in that hot.
Oh, my gosh.
Scary. All right, so on Tuesday, Andrew, we have you on every Monday after Eagles games to get your reaction. But on Tuesday, we had a topic, and I'm curious to get your response to it. So we were asking the people if the second half offense should be the standard moving forward. Now, not to the 3 touchdowns, 200. How many yards did he throw for in the second half? 260?
Whatever.
210 if he had 17 at half because it was 227.
All right, 210. So I'm not asking for 6 touchdown passes, 420 yards on a weekly basis, but it's the knowing when you see it thing. what you saw in the second half was nowhere what you saw in the first half. It was not what you saw against the Chiefs. Now, there's context to everything. The Chiefs and the style of defense. The second half of the Cowboys, the hour delay. Like, I understand there is context to everything. But I'll ask you. You heard what the players said after the game. Jalen with Pam Oliver, not at the podium, because I think he was more real with Pam Oliver. AJ, Jordan, Kevin Patullo, Sirianni, based off everything that they said, they all said that they need to work on what happened in the first half and make sure the second half is the norm. But I'll ask you, because you've been stuck on the Week 5 Denver game.
Yeah.
About when you want to kind of see it really, really click. Is the second half offense against the Rams sort of the standard for you moving forward? Because I kind of need to see it out the gate on Sunday, considering all the injuries they're dealing with on defense.
Yeah, you have to understand that at their core, the Eagles' offense is conservative. They believe that if they don't turn the football over, they're going to win more often than not. And when you win 19 of 20, it's kind of hard to argue against that. Now, I'm not suggesting that they don't need to be less conservative, but and you kind of alluded to this, Andrew. The personality of the game dictated that the Eagles play a certain way. They know that they can turn it on when they have to, but their bread and butter is playing mistake-free football, running the football, imposing their will, and playing good defense, at least over the past 2 seasons. So I do believe that you have to take what Jalen and AJ are saying into consideration and be more aggressive, because playing the way that they did on Sunday is going to get you beat most weeks. I thought the Rams, and not a lot of folks talk about the Rams, but Sean McVay played awfully conservative in the second half of that game.
Talked about it ad nauseum on Monday. That 4th and 2 where he punts at midfield. I understand the field goals, like those are debatable as well. 4th and 2, when you allowed Dallas Goedert to score, which made it 26-14. Already, there's a little bit of shift in momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Them not going for it on that 4th and 2, I thought was one of the biggest mistakes McVay made.
It's like they took their foot off the gas, and sometimes that can trickle down.
Way too conservative.
It can trickle down to the team. Not saying that affects the way that you approach it. You always want to have that same mindset, but if your coach is calling it conservatively, as a player, you're sort of on cruise control, like you have the game won. But the fact that they weren't able to cash in the red zone, they won 1 for 4, I believe.
Yeah.
Going into halftime, even though the score necessarily didn't indicate it, I was like, well, I mean, the Eagles they're in this game. And if they're able to get things rolling in the third quarter, the Rams could be in trouble because of the way things were trending. So I say all that to say that the Eagles have what it takes to be able to tap into an advanced passing game when they need to. They need to be able to do that a little bit more often now.
Conversely, though, the 4th and 5 decision, 4th and 6 by Sirianni was not a smart decision. They should have punted them deep. The way that defense was playing in the second half, there was no reason to go for it there. And they dodged a bullet. If Jalen Carter doesn't block that field goal,
sure,
you don't know.
Completely different game. I don't understand what he was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, semantics at this point, but that obviously wasn't a good thing it could have led to.
They needed
12
a turn of the
yards,
tides. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
One more Sirianni thing. Again, these are questions because, as you said, 19 and 1 of your last 20 games is hard to argue critical. You can question them. I think questioning's fair.
Absolutely,
sure it is.
That timeout he called when
18 seconds to go.
Why? Why call that timeout? Because the clock's running,
and the Rams were trying to get the timeout called, and they called it first.
You gifted him a timeout, which then led to 2 plays. One was the incomplete pass, then it was a 7-yard run from Kyron Williams, which set up the 44-yarder. And if their kicker doesn't try to kick a line drive kick from 44 yards, it's a you lose. I don't remember anyone even asking about it. Like, why that timeout in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, the game was, 3 or 4 days ago now. It's hard for me to even remember the sequence, but as you're saying it, I mean, it was a curious decision. I at the time was so wrapped up in, oh my gosh, are they gonna win this game? I'm trying to look at my story, game story. Have to go through and make some alterations.
They had 2 timeouts. They called one to ice Cardi, and before that, the Rams called a timeout with 3 seconds left, like any coach would. But he called a timeout with 18 seconds. I'm like,
that gave them 2 plays
as the clock's running. Yo, dude, what are you doing?
I said on Monday though. I don't remember. I told Andrew, I said, I don't remember ever coming in on a Monday and saying, okay, we're talking today, but we got to talk about Nick Sirianni and this clock management. He has been so good. Him and his staff have been so good.
There are other things. Communication. You could want to give someone a breather. It was hot out there that day.
Sure.
So there are reasons why you could call it, and that you regroup. Here's what we're seeing in the event that they do kick the field goal. Let's try to exploit this. Like there's strategy that can also go into it as well.
Yeah, I don't think you ever stop the clock there.
You can't adjust on the fly, in passing on the sideline.
Sure. All right. The Checkadamus.
Here we go.
Respectfully, you did not predict 2 blocked field goals. And
my
one
bad.
being
seriously.
Yeah, what the hell's wrong?
I'll do better next time.
You've been a little off.
Come on, bro. What the hell's wrong with you?
I got to step my game up.
Sunday, Eagles-Bucks. We'll get your score prediction before we get you out of here. But what are you expecting? Some key moments coming up in Sunday's game.
Yeah, I view this as the Jalen Carter game. I think Jalen Carter is going to make his presence felt early and often, pick up a sack in this one. I feel pretty comfortable saying that. I like the advantage that the Eagles have in the trenches. I alluded to that earlier in the segments. But offensively, I think Dallas Goedert finds the end zone again. They're able to kind of attack the middle of the field there. He needs to be more of a red zone presence, I feel like. I still feel like he's a little underutilized. Obviously, he missed the Chiefs game.
It's like year 5 of us saying that.
He's nuts. Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
But perhaps they're able to build off of what they were able to do in the second half of that game and in the utilization of Dallas Goedert. Devontae Smith, to me, this feels like a game that's ripe for a big spot, big Devontae Smith game.
Okay.
Haven't we been thinking this, though? That it's more coming out of him? Have you been pleased overall with the plan and the execution of the plan for Devontae Smith?
He was really effective last week. He was more of a chain mover. I think he had 5 or 6 catches, and they were all key.
Sure.
To the point where I was like, he must have like 9 or 10 catches at this point, and I had to go back and look. And they weren't for.
What was it, 6?
I think it was. It was like 6.
That?
But he was very effective and a safety valve for Jalen Hurts, and moved the chains and was key. Obviously scored that touchdown late in the game, the 4-yarder. I think this is a big spot for Devontae.
8 for 60, by the way.
Ooh, I like that.
60.
He had 8 for 60. By the way, credit to John. John saw the touchdown pass, and it immediately reminded him of a former Eagle play.
The one that gave the Eagles a lead.
Golden Tate.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Golden Tate, Bears, playoffs. Cody Parkey missed a field goal.
It's like the same scenario, and then the same a really weird missed field goal.
Yeah, that sequence.
And
I saw that.
That was Golden Tate's like one catch in his Eagles tenure, which was
he made it. It was worth his acquisition. That one thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, he didn't do a lot during this time, but yeah, that was kind of reminiscent.
He's rolling.
Same route.
Yeah,
look like the same route.
Just unbelievable. All right, kickoffs. I know you're saying that obviously the knuckleball kick and everything, but Shipley's going to be back out there. I'll ask you, is there a Britton Covey active day at some point? Or because they usually have 2 guys back there, so we know that one will be Shipley. Would it be Mechie as the other? Is it going to? We've seen Dotson. We've seen Bigsby.
They claimed Xavier Gibson, we should say. And he's someone who has an extensive resume as it pertains to returning kicks and punts. Ball security has been an issue. I got a chance to meet and speak with him yesterday. He said that that's the one area that he's looking to work on.
Okay.
So, I mean, there is a world or a scenario where you can have 2 totally different returners this week. Shipley being one of them. We'll see. A.J. Dillon can do it. He's been back there with Shipley, Mechie, Tank Bigsby. They traded for Tank Bigsby, a 5th and a 6th-round pick. I don't know if they're willing to move off of taking him off of kick returns, that is, this early. But Xavier Gibson, they claimed him for a reason. Yeah. He has that ability, so I'm curious to see if he is active this week. And if he is, I mean, it would be for special teams purposes.
And Azeez, I'm guessing, is active this week?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do.
Right?
I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do.
Gut instinct. I know you sniff around these things. Why has he not gotten an opportunity?
Well, he's played like 60 special team snaps in his career. And if you're the 5th edge rusher on game day, or 6th even, you have to be able to help on special teams because you're realistically not going to see the field all that much on defense. Vic Fangio doesn't rotate his edge rushers that much. In fact, he even said one year in San Francisco, they got by with 3 edge rushers. So a lot of it comes down to special teams, not the ability of the player. But I'm curious to see what he's able to do in this defense in a game situation. And sometimes players, when you see things from from the sideline. It's from a different perspective, through a different lens. You're able to make alterations to your game that maybe you can't do if you're on the field, if that makes sense. You see things differently. You're able to pick things up. So we'll see. Obo Okoronkwo was another player that I really liked in the preseason and training camp. Had some really good violent rushes. We'll see if he's able to factor into the equation, too.
Just rolls off his tongue.
He does, man. He's the best.
You'd be a great play-by-play guy with all these names. You get them all figured out. Can I just throw something at you that's not an Eagles to Checkadamas thing? Just a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Could you imagine ever being a pro athlete and being asked a question, and you say that the country you're from and saying that another country is the greatest country in the world? Rory McIlroy is in the Ryder Cup.
Okay.
And Rory McIlroy is being asked about, the Ryder Cup, and there's all the rivalry and everything going back and forth and everything. He goes, America's the greatest country in the world.
It's a land of opportunity, baby.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't think that's no. I think it's the first of all, I think it's the right answer. I think it's the right answer, and I think it's it. But you think that's going to be popular with Rory McIlroy's people?
Probably not, but that's okay. Let him deal with that.
No, what I'm just saying is could you imagine that? Can you imagine his teammates liking that?
I mean, they don't have Purple Mountain's Majesty. Where's he from? Scotland?
I can't imagine. Ireland, right? I think he's from Ireland. I can't imagine the Irish are going to be very happy.
I mean,
with
let's all be
it.
honest.
And it's
Lithuania number one.
No, but I mean, I think America's the greatest country in the world.
What's your Mount Rushmore of country?
At the Ryder,
Lithuania's out
no,
there,
but at the
dude,
Ryder Cup,
absolutely.
I don't think that's gonna go over popular with his own people.
All right.
I think he's gonna be like, hey. By the way, I'm rooting for their team. Their team's better. He's going. Their team's the greatest country.
Team
in the
USA,
world.
baby.
Hey, good job, Roy.
What's the prediction on the game?
Okay. Well, based off of how the Eagles were able to pull that one off, I'm not going to pick against them until they actually lose a game. I have the Eagles winning this one. We'll say 24-17. And I just came up with that on the spot. But I think that the Heat could play a factor there. I don't know that it's going to be overly high scoring.
Okay. Johnny, life-saving cancer research, please.
I will. Hey, FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning says that they made a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research, and you can too. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR because I'm living proof that cancer research saves lives. And by the way, from Tampa TV, Tampa 13 and TV, it will be the hottest Tampa Bay Bucks game.
Oh, my God.
Since last year's Eagles-Bucks game. Because I heard Raider Frank on Twitter going, boy, the Philadelphia media really likes to make a deal about this heat like nobody else plays in heat down there in Tampa. From Tampa Bay 13. It'll be the hottest Bucks game since last time the Eagles were in town. It's like the Eagles bring it.
Well,
with
from Tampa Bay Gate F, everybody's
it.
singing the fight song according to the missus.
Woo!
The Eagles for Tampa this weekend. Hey, Andrew, thank you as always. You're the best.
You bet.
Ray Dunn comes.